Good afternoon, baseball fans, and welcome to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. I'm Leo Blavin, live at Ray Fisher Stadium, getting you set for the 13th ranked Michigan Wolverines and the 18th ranked Oklahoma Sooners. On the mound for the Maize and Blue this afternoon, junior left-hander Oliver Jaske out of Ada, Michigan, enters this game with a record of 4-1. This will be his 9th start of the season, and he has a 4.19 ERA as well. The Oklahoma Sooners enter Ann Arbor with a record of 27-9. The Wolverines 26-7. Oklahoma, this is their 14th road game of the year. Michigan nearly perfect at home, 13-2 when playing at Ray Fisher Stadium on Tuesday afternoon, a game that went into the early evening. The Wolverines took on cross-county rival Eastern Michigan in a game that took 13 innings, with the Wolverines ultimately winning in walk-off fashion. And they'll look to continue their hot home start during this lengthy home stretch throughout the month of April. A chance for the Wolverines to bolster their resume, which they hope will be good enough to contend for hosting an NCAA regional, if not a super regional, and winning a series against a top 25 opponent like Oklahoma could go a long way towards securing postseason play here in Ann Arbor. Leading things off for the Oklahoma Sooners will be senior Ben Hollis. Hollis batting .295 on the year, looking for hit number 29 on the season. Left-hander Jaske ready to deliver the first pitch of this game between Michigan and Oklahoma. On its way and in there for a called strike. First pitch coming at 4:02. Overcast skies here in Ann Arbor. We're underway. The 0-1 pitch from Jaske. Swung on and fouled off of the batter, Hollis. Hollis, a left-hander. The senior from Longview, Texas, listed at 6 foot, 195 pounds. The usual defense out there for the Wolverines: Lugbauer, Berdar, Thomas, and Bivens. From left to right are your infielders. Wenson behind the plate. Jaske on the bump, delivers the 0-2. Inside for a ball, 1-2. The outfielders from left to right: Lewis, Slater, and Engelman. Michigan in their home white uniforms with the blue caps and the maize block M across the front. The 1-2 from Jaske, swung on and fouled into the netting behind home plate. Will do it again at 1-2. Hollis making his 27th start of the season in center field. Looking to avoid the strikeout, but he's behind 1-2 to Oliver Jaske. The 1-2 pitch, swung on in on the hands. It's popped up. Wenson giving chase, and he catches it a few feet shy of the Michigan dugout along the third base line for out number 1. Between the 18th ranked Oklahoma Sooners and the 13th ranked Michigan Wolverines. Right fielder Quinn Wahlberg will be hitting second for the Sooners today, the right-hander. Gets set to enter the batter's box. Wahlberg from Edmond, Oklahoma. 5'11", 165. Looking to use that short-statured frame to perhaps shrink the strike zone, but he takes a cut at a first pitch outside the zone, and he's behind 0-1. Jaske looking confident early, delivers the 0-1, swung on and missed again. He's ahead 0-2. Looking for his first strikeout of the afternoon. One away here in the top of the first between Michigan and Oklahoma. We're still scoreless. Jaske ready to deliver the 0-2 pitch to Quinn Wahlberg. On its way, swung on and missed, strike 3. 3 swings of the bat, no contact made, and Jaske has his first strikeout of the afternoon. A nice response for the junior left-hander who in his last outing back on April 7th against Big Ten foe Illinois. Jaski only lasted 3 innings. It was his shortest outing of the season. He gave up 5 earned runs, 7 runs total on 6 hits with 3 walks and just 4 strikeouts. Already with his first on the afternoon here. 2 away in the top of the first. Second baseman Jack Flansburgh digs in. The left-hander batting .259 on the year. Takes one high and out of the zone for a ball, 1-0. Flansburgh, a senior from Orange, California, made his way to Norman, Oklahoma by way of Cypress Junior College. Stands in the left-handed batter's box at 5'11", 180, and takes another pitch out of the zone, this time at the knees, 2-0. Jaski sets, delivers the 2-0 pitch, swung on in at the hands. He got a defensive cut and sends it foul towards the Michigan bullpen. Count now at 2-1 for Oliver Jaski. Jaski back on April 3rd was named the Collegiate Baseball National Player of the Week. And he's twice been named the Big Ten Conference Pitcher of the Week so far this season. He's behind, though, 2-1 to the batter, Flansburgh. The 2-1 pitch, missing low to run the count to 3-1. Our home plate umpire this afternoon, Stephen Linton. Pete Pedersen will be at first base, and Robert Wrights will be shadowing third and second. And that is your 3-man umpiring crew. Flansburgh looks to reach base safely. Ahead 3-1. The 3-1 swung on and into the netting behind home plate, runs the count full. As Jaski looks for back-to-back strikeouts to send into the bottom half of this first frame. Two outs, nobody on. The payoff pitch from Jaski to Flansburgh. In there, sent weakly down the third base line, foul. We'll do it again at 3-2. Jaski wipes the glove across his jersey and now sets to deliver the payoff pitch. Swung on off the catcher's mask of Harrison Wenson. Another defensive swing. Keeps Flansburgh alive. Flansburgh has struck out 19 times this season. He's also reached base via the walk 29 times on the year. The next pitch could provide one of those two outcomes potentially, with the count full and 2 outs in the top of the first between Michigan and Oklahoma. Jaski set, delivers from the wind-up, the 3-2 pitch, popped up, and this will once again track foul over the netting. Lands on some concrete. Nice at-bat being put together by Flansburgh, running up the pitch count here in the first. Jaski entered this at-bat, having thrown 8. He's likely doubled that against just this batter. Flansburgh in the 3 spot with the 3-2 pitch upcoming, sends it to the first baseman, Bivens, who will do it himself, scooping up the grounder and touching first with the cleat. 3 up, 3 down, go the Sooners. The Wolverine Bats will come up here in the bottom half of the first, still scoreless between the 18th-ranked Oklahoma Sooners and the 13th-ranked Michigan Wolverines. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball.
Listen, my life changed because someone was there to get me to use drugs. No one can understand. Whether or not they've struggled with addiction themselves, people seem to think that having someone who will listen is going to help make it better. I'm realizing that I need help.
I'm listening.
I need help. I'm realizing that I think that having someone who will listen is going to help make it better. Whether or not they've struggled with addiction themselves, people seem to understand. No one can get me to use drugs. My life changed because someone was there to listen.
1 in 7 Americans will struggle with addiction during their lifetime. Want to know how you can help? Go to heretolisten.com for tips and tools to help turn addiction around. A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council.
Listen, my life changed because someone was there to get me to use drugs. No one can understand. Whether or not they've struggled with addiction themselves, people seem to think that having someone who will listen is going to help make it better. I'm realizing that I need help.
I'm listening.
I need help. I'm realizing that I think that having someone who will listen is going to help make it better. Whether or not they've struggled with addiction themselves, people seem to understand. No one can get me to use drugs. My life changed because someone was there to listen.
1 in 7 Americans will struggle with addiction during their lifetime. Want to know how you can help? Go to heretolisten.com for tips and tools to help turn addiction around. A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council.
The Michigan Bats coming to the plate for the first time this afternoon. Akeo Thomas in his usual spot as the leadoff man for the Maize and Blue against the 18th ranked Oklahoma Sooners here at Ray Fisher Stadium in Ann Arbor, Michigan. The Wolverines looking to boost their non-conference resume with a series win against a top 20 opponent from the Big 12 Conference. Akeo Thomas batting a remarkable .346 this year with 44 hits to his credit and an on-base percentage of .465. He will lead things off here in the bottom half of the first. Steps into the right-handed batter's box to face sophomore right-hander Dylan Grove from Moore, Oklahoma, on the bump for the Sooners this afternoon. His first pitch is low and inside for a ball, 1-0. His last start, he allowed a first inning run for the third start in a row at Texas back on the 7th, looking to avoid giving up a first inning run in his fourth straight start. He's behind, though, 2-0. His second pitch well inside as well to the speedster Akeo Thomas. Grove has a 2.38 ERA, 1 wins and 2 losses. This is 8th start of the season. His 2-0 as Thomas shows bunt, pulls back. The low pitch at the knees for a called strike, however, runs the count to 2-1. For the sophomore from Chicago, Illinois, Akeo Thomas readies for the 2-1 pitch. That paints the black over the outside part of the plate to even the count at 2-2. The 2-2 pitch from Grove, swung on and sent foul down the third base line. The count remains 2-2 for the leadoff man for the Wolverines here in the bottom of the first, Akeo Thomas. Looking to start the Wolverine offense off right here against Oklahoma. The right-hander Bivens set from the windup, delivers the 2-2. Well inside, not enough break on it to catch the plate, runs the count full. Thomas looking to reach base safely, faces the payoff pitch outside, and he is aboard with a leadoff walk. Akeo Thomas, now 25 base on balls this season. Now he has the speed on the base paths with Johnny Slater coming to the plate. Thomas, 18 for 21 on stolen base attempts this season. Michigan, the second most steals as a team in the entire country coming into this weekend series. Johnny Slater in the 2 spot, batting .302, the senior from Southfield, Michigan, with Thomas, the leadoff man aboard via a walk at first. Thomas going all the way. The hit and run was on. Thomas is going to have to backtrack. That one's lined into right field, where it's caught by Wahlberg for out number 1. It was good contact from Slater, just into an unfortunate spot in the ballpark, right to the right fielder, Wahlberg. But the hardest hit ball we've seen so far this afternoon here in the bottom of the first, 0-0. Right now between the Wolverines and Oklahoma, with the Michigan bats up at the plate for the first time this afternoon. Michael Berdar, batting .313 this year, the senior, readies to face the sophomore Dylan Grove on the mound for the Oklahoma Sooners. The first pickoff this afternoon. High and doesn't even elicit a tag from the first baseman, O'Brien. K.O. Thomas looking to run at first with 1 out here in the bottom of the inning. Berdar still waiting for the first pitch. On its way, low. Nice block by home plate by the Oklahoma catcher, Rene Martinez, whose arm will undoubtedly be tested throughout this game by a Wolverine team known for their aggressiveness on the bases. The count 1-0 between Dylan Grove and Berdar. Another pickoff. K.O. Thomas dives back head first and safely. Right-hander Grove gives a look over his lead shoulder back towards first, where Thomas is looking to run. Now he sets and delivers the 1-0 pitch. Thomas going all the way. A nice throw, but Thomas had a great jump and dove in head first and safely to advance himself into scoring position. 19 stolen bases on the year for a K.O. Thomas, as he continues to serve his role perfectly in the leadoff spot for the Wolverines. And now he's in scoring position for Michael Berdar, who already has 22 RBIs on the season. The count 1-1. That pitch was a strike. However, K.O. Thomas able to advance to second on the strike. 1 out here in the bottom of the first. The 1-1 pitch to Berdar. Swung on, tipped and fouled into the Michigan dugout netting. Runs the count to 1-2. Dylan Grove looking for his first strikeout of the afternoon. Has 46 strikeouts this season through 34 in the third innings pitched. K.O. Thomas at second. Berdar in the right-handed batter's box takes the 1-2 pitch. Swung on, another defensive swing in at the hands. Fouled off the catcher, Martinez. We'll do it again at 1-2. With the Oklahoma Sooners, a marquee non-conference matchup in the middle of Big Ten play. With the Wolverines welcoming Boomer Sooner from Norman. Step off the mound at the last second to try to keep Thomas close to that second base bag. He'll go back and touch second. The count remains 1-2 to Michael Berdar. Grove looking to avoid giving up a first inning run for the 4th straight start. He's ahead 1-2 against the .313 hitting senior. The 1-2 pitch swung on and sent into left field. Giving chase is Walker, who makes the catch for out number 2. Couple of hard hits to the outfield on back-to-back batters of Slater and Berdar, but the outfield reading them perfectly off the bat, providing some help to their fly ball pitcher, Dylan Grove. That will bring up the slugger Drew Lugbauer, who's batting .289 on the year with a team-high 9 home runs. Another team high for him, 42 RBIs this season looking for RBI 43 to plate the first run in this game here in the bottom of the first. 2 outs. The leadoff man, Akeo Thomas, reaching via a walk, is at second after stealing a base. Rose delivers to Lugbauer. Low and outside for a ball, 1-0. Lugbauer also with a team-high 39 strikeouts this year. However, he's also reached via the walk 21 times during the 2017 campaign. The lefty takes the 1-0 pitch once again outside. Breaking ball, 2-0. The shortstop, Zaragoza, playing close to the second base bag, so there's a big gap between third base and the shortstop. The second baseman, Flansburgh, playing squarely between first and second, looking for a pull as his cleats are on the shallow outfield grass. Doesn't appear Lugbauer's in any hurry to swing. Another pitch misses low and outside to run the count to 3-0. With 2 outs here in the bottom of the first, Akeo Thomas at second, reaching via a walk. Grove sets and delivers the 3-0 to Lugbauer. Inside and low, 4 pitches, 4 balls, and that's the second walk conceded by Dylan Grove in this bottom half of the first inning. Runners at first and second for the left fielder Miles Lewis, the transfer from the University of North Dakota, where he was the Western Athletic Conference Freshman of the Year. Redshirt sophomore from Hudson, Wisconsin, looking to plate the first runs of this game. But there are 2 outs. Runners at first and second. The pitch to Lewis. Off the end of the bat, foul into the brick facade behind home plate. Took a hard ricochet, meaning Aaron Etchison, the first base coach, had to track it down. Toss it over to the Michigan dugout. Grove looking to escape the inning unscathed. And looking for his second win of the year. And this is 8th start. Runners at first and second, 2 outs in the bottom of the first. The 0-1 pitch with both runners going. And the throw never even got out of the catcher's hand. Martinez went up to try to fire it over to second and lost his handle on the baseball. So now 2 runners in scoring position for Miles Lewis with the count at 1-1 and 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. Dylan Grove on the verge of giving up a first inning run for the 4th start in a row for the sophomore from Moore, Oklahoma, standing in on the mound at 6'2", 170, ready to deliver the 1-1 pitch to Miles Lewis. Akeo Thomas at third, Drew Lugbauer at second, both of them reaching via walks. The 1-1 pitch to Lewis in at the hands. Good eye by Lewis to take it. The count now 2-1. First baseman Jake Bivens awaits on deck. First base is open. The count 2-1 to Miles Lewis with runners at second and third rather. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. The 2-1 pitch to Lewis. Once again inside, and the count is now 3-1. Grove trying to avoid his third walk in this first inning. Found himself in some trouble here early on with runners at second and third. However, with 2 outs, he's just looking for 1 pitch to get him out of this inning if he can induce a pop-up or a ground out. He readies to deliver the 3-1 pitch to Lewis with first base open, runners at second and third. Lewis swing and a miss, running the count full at 3-2. Payoff pitch upcoming with 2 runners in scoring position for the Maize and Blue. Still scoreless between the 18th-ranked Oklahoma Sooners and the 13th-ranked Michigan Wolverines. Miles Lewis readies to take the payoff pitch from Dylan Grove. Right-hander sets, delivers. Outside, the bases are loaded for Jake Bivens. 3 walks in this first inning will draw a conference on the mound between Martinez, the catcher, O'Brien, the first baseman, and the pitcher, Grove. Grove has yet to concede a hit in this inning, but he has runners on all 3 bases. Mikhail Thomas led things off with a walk. And Lugbauer, who's at second. Now Miles Lewis with the walk is at first. The base is loaded here in the bottom of the first inning. 2 outs, though, for the Maize and Blue Bats as Jake Bivens digs in. First pitch low. Good block by Martinez to keep Akeo Thomas at third. 1-0, though, to Jake Bivens, who's batting .250 with the bases loaded this year and .224 with runners in scoring position. Two outs here in the bottom of the first. The bases loaded. The 1-0 pitch from Grove to Bivens. Inside and at the shins, running the count to 2-0. No bases empty, so Grove can't afford a walk here. It's going to play to run. And Oklahoma's entire infield will come to meet on the mound, which means the Michigan base runners will meet with their head coach, Eric Bakich, in his 5th year with the Maize and Blue. 4 straight winning seasons to start his Michigan career. And the Wolverines well on their way to their 5th straight winning season, as Eric Bakich hopes to lead Michigan to the NCAA tournament for the 2nd time in his tenure. Certainly would love to come away with a Big Ten title as well. The Wolverines lead the conference all-time with 35. They'd love to make it 36 this season and have shown they have the talent to do so. Can improve their Big Ten standing this weekend, but they can certainly improve their chances of hosting a regional. They can get a victory against a top 20 non-conference opponent in the form of the Oklahoma Sooners. Home plate umpire Stephen Linton has come out to the mound to break up the conference. The bases remain loaded for Jake Bivens, who's ahead in the count 2-0 against the right-handed pitcher Dylan Grove. Bivens looking to add to his 9 RBIs on the year. Has a chance to do so in a major way here in the bottom of the first with 2 outs. The bases loaded for the first baseman. After the conference, Grove readies to deliver the 2-0 pitch. That one paints the black on the outside, perhaps a mercy call there for the home plate umpire Stephen Linton. The called strike makes the count 2-1. The designated hitter Nick Poirier awaits on deck. The bases remain loaded. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first, still scoreless between the Wolverines and the Sooners. The 2-1 pitch from Grove to Bivens. Misses outside, the count 3-1. And Grove 1 pitch away from conceding a run for the 4th straight time in a first inning that he has started. The base is loaded. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. The 3-1 pitch from Grove to Bivens. And that one misses outside. He walks in a run. Akeo Thomas touches home. And the Wolverines, who have yet to record a hit in this inning, will keep the bases loaded and have a 1-0 lead here over the 18th ranked Oklahoma Sooners. A great start to the afternoon for the Wolverine Bats, and they haven't had to use them yet. Just keeping on the shoulder has played a run. The bases remain loaded for Nick Poirier, who's hitting in the 7th spot this afternoon. The designated hitter batting .333 on the year has a chance to put up a crooked number here in the first inning with the Wolverines already on top 1-0 via 4 walks this inning. The first pitch, Poirier sees is inside, and that got a piece of him, so he will take first via a hit by pitch Still no hits for the Wolverines in the first inning, but now 2 runs. As Drew Lugbauer comes home safely on the hit by pitch to Nick Boyer, and the sophomore Dylan Grove looks rattled out there now. He's thrown 31 pitches in the first inning, has yet to see a ball hit safely in play. But 4 walks and 1 hit by pitch has plated 2 runs for the Maize and Blue here in the first. A great start to this series for Michigan against top 20 Oklahoma. So the bases remain loaded for the 8-hitter Jonathan Engelman, batting .309 on the year. Engelman looking for RBI number 20 in the form of Miles Lewis, who's at third, Jake Bivens at second, Nick Boyer at first, with 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. That pitch misses high and outside for a ball, 1-0. Right now, Dylan Grove just needs to get a couple pitches over the plate. 4 walks and a hit by pitch has plated 2 runs for Michigan in this first inning. They're still looking for their first hit, but they haven't needed it. Already 2 runs here in the bottom of the first. The 1-0 pitch to Engelman, and that one misses well outside and low. A nice snag by Martinez, the catcher. The count now 2-0. As Flansburgh, the second baseman, will come to the mound to try to settle down his sophomore pitcher. Dylan Grove at 32 pitches here in the first inning. The base is still loaded with 2 away. Engelman steps back in the right-handed batter's box, looking for his 20th RBI of the season with the bases juiced. Grove delivers the 2-0. Inside, belt high, called strike 2-1. And if I'm Engelman, I'm still taking all the way here, with Grove struggling to get the ball across the plate right now. The base is loaded, 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. Michigan on top, 2-0. The 2-1 pitch from Grove to Engelman. And that one's high, 3-1. A disastrous start for Dylan Grove, who's on the verge of giving up his 33rd walk of the season. And more importantly for Michigan, this would be his 5th walk so far here in the first inning. With the bases loaded, it would plate the 3rd run of the inning. Grove steps off the rubber for a moment, regathers himself. Engelman in the batter's box, the right-hander, ready to take the pitch from the sophomore righty himself. The base is loaded, 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. The 3-1 pitch. That one misses low, and that's 5 walks here in the first inning, 3 runs for the Maize and Blue. And Oklahoma already starting to get some activity in their bullpen out in right field. Dylan Grove doing nothing to help his cause. Michigan still without a hit, but 5 walks and a hit by pitch has plated 3 runs here in the bottom of the first. As Oklahoma head coach Pete Hughes, in his 4th season with the Sooners, brings the entire infield in to meet on the mound. Perhaps trying to buy some time. No, he's going to call it a day for the sophomore right-hander. Dylan Grove chased out of this game here in the first inning. The Wolverines lead it 3-0 on 5 walks and a hit by pitch. We're going to step away as well. Michigan on top 3-0 here in the bottom of the first, still threatening with the bases loaded, and a new pitcher coming in for the Sooners on the Michigan Baseball Student Radio Network, WCBN FM Ann Arbor.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Major key alert! Don't ever play yourself. Life is like school. You will be tested, so pass it.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at GetSchooled.com.
Stay focused. Now that's a major key alert.
Brought to you by Get Schooled and the Ad Council.
Hey y'all, I'm Blake Shelton. I love that country music connects people all over this great nation, but unfortunately so does something else, childhood hunger. 15 million children struggle with hunger in America. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks works to rescue our surplus food to help provide billions of meals to families in need across the country. Join the fight against hunger at feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Sophomore right-hander Ryan Madden out on the mound for Oklahoma, replacing the starter Dylan Grove, responsible for all 3 of the base runners. 5 walks and a hit by pitch. Has already plated 3 runs for the Wolverines here in the first. Michigan still seeking their first hit, but they'll take the runs any way they can get them. Catcher Harrison Wentz hitting in the 9 spot with the bases loaded. The new pitcher Ryan Madden out of Westminster, Colorado. Colorado delivers his first pitch inside, nearly got a piece of Wentz's jersey. 1-0 to Wentz with 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. Michigan on top of Oklahoma 3-0 via 5 walks and a hit by pitch. Madden enters with a 4.32 ERA and a record of 4-1 on the year. The 1-0 pitch, low and inside for a ball, 2-0. This could not have been what Oklahoma head coach Pete Hughes hoped to see out of his reliever. This could be the 6th walk of this first inning if Madden can't find the strike zone. He's behind the catcher Harrison Wentz. The 2-0 swung on, sent foul into the netting behind home plate, 2-1. The bases remain loaded with Engelman at first, Poirier at second, and Bivens at third. Wenson batting .200 this year with the bases loaded, .222 with runners in scoring position. Looking to add to his 22 RBIs on the year. The bases loaded, the 2-1 pitch with 2 outs in the inning. Hard liner ripped foul. On the third baseline. Evens the count at 2-2. Madden 1 pitch away from getting out of the bases loaded jam he inherited from the Oklahoma starter Dylan Grove, who was chased out of this game in the first inning. Bases loaded. 2-2 count against Harrison Wentz with 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. Ryan Madden sets and delivers inside. Nice defensive swing on the breaking ball. Sent into the Michigan dugout to keep the count at 2-2 and give more life to Wenson in the right-handed batter's box. Michigan already with 3 runs here in the bottom of the first. Wenson looking to add on a few more. The 2-2 pitch with the bases loaded, swung on in the dirt. It's a 3rd pitch strike. The throw from home to first. And a strikeout ends the inning and the threat for the Wolverines, but not before the Maize and Blue plate 3. They'll leave them loaded, and they still have yet to record a hit. But 5 walks and a hit by pitch gives Michigan a 3-0 lead as we head to the 2nd inning of play. Oliver Jaske back on the mound for the Maize and Blue when we come back on the Michigan Baseball Student Radio Network, WCBN FM, Ann Arbor.
They'll challenge your authority. They'll try to break your will. They'll push you to the edge of your sanity. Because that's what kids do. But this car is your territory, not theirs. Defend it. Who makes the payments? Who cleans it? Who drives it? You do. That's who. And in here, your word is law. So when you say you won't move until everyone's buckled up, you won't budge an inch. Until you hear that click. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. For more information, visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone. She even likes her untidy roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I rescued Toast from a shelter in 2011. I love Toast because she's a lazy diva. Toast does whatever she wants, obviously. She's sleeping right now. She's so loving. She's so comforting. When I walked into the shelter, I knew right then that she was special.
Toast, Instagram star, and shelter pet. Amazing adoption stories start in shelters. Start yours today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Back here for the top of the second, Oliver Jaski, his first pitch, gets a piece of Steele Walker. The left fielder reaches on a hit by pitch to lead off the top of the second. Michigan on top of the 18th ranked Oklahoma Sooners, 3-0 after 5 walks and a hit by pitch. Oliver Jaski looking to take advantage of the run support he got from his hitters back in the first, but not a good start to the second after hitting the left fielder Steele Walker. Leadoff man here in the second aboard for the Oklahoma Sooners. The first baseman, Austin O'Brien, in there for Oklahoma at the plate. Entering this game with a .314 batting average, the senior with 3 home runs, and he grounds one into left field. So the first 2 hitters aboard for Oklahoma here in the top of the second. And that's the first hit of the afternoon for either side. And it comes off the bat of Austin O'Brien, who keeps his hot start going, 28 hits on the year and 87 at-bats now for the senior from Owasso, Oklahoma. O'Brien at first, Walker at second, still no one away in the top of the second. Michigan on top of Oklahoma, 3-0. But the Sooners threatening here with no one out and a runner in scoring position already. The catcher Martinez takes a big cut into a big miss to fall behind Jaski, 0-1. Jaski was chased out of his last start against Illinois in just 3 innings of work. Hoping to be more efficient this afternoon in the second. He's worked himself into some trouble with runners at first and second and no one away. Rene Martinez swings and misses once again. Good response after the hit against Jaski as he gets himself ahead of 0-2, looking for his second strikeout of the afternoon. Late time called for by the catcher, Martinez. The right-hander in the batter's box. Once again, a mix-up of the signals, so Jaski asks for it again from his catcher, Harrison Wenson, who struck out with the bases loaded in the bottom half of the first. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Oliver Jaski with 2 strikeouts, and he'll keep the runners at first and second. Now a ground ball could get him out of the inning with 1 away here in the bottom, or the top rather, of the second. Michigan on top, 3-0. O'Brien at first, Walker at second. The designated hitter for the Oklahoma Sooners, Riley Ware, batting .348 on the year in the 7th spot for Oklahoma. Runners at first and second, a pitch missing low and outside, according to home plate umpire Stephen Linton. 1-0. Pitch low and inside, 2-0. Jaski trying to avoid loading the bases. As the Wolverines played at 3 runs with bases loaded back in the bottom of the first and chased out Oklahoma's starting pitcher, Dylan Grove. Jaski hoping he doesn't suffer a similar fate. But he's behind 2-0 with runners at first and second, 1 out in the inning. Delivers a confident strike over the top to get himself back in this at-bat. Still the count in the hitter's favor. Riley Ware is ahead 2-1 with 1 out here in the top of the second. Runners at first and second. Ware, a .348 hitter this season, takes the 2-1 pitch and swings and misses. Jaski got him to chase a pitch outside to even the count at 2-2, looking for back-to-back strikeouts here in the second. He's at 60 strikeouts on the year, looking for 61 on this pitch. The 2-2 pitch from Jaski to Ware. Swung on, sent foul out of play along the right field line. One out here in the top of the second, the 2-2 pitch at the letters and outside, runs the count full. Walker looking to run at second, O'Brien at first. Oliver Jaski, the big lefty on the mound, ready to deliver the payoff pitch to the designated hitter, Riley Ware. On its way, swung on, sent into right field. Engelman under it for out number 2. The runner is not able to tag on the shallow fly ball to right. And Jaski's retired the past 2 hitters faced after a hit by pitch and a single at runners at first and second, no one out. Here in the top of the second, back-to-back outs via the strikeout, and now a fly out to right has put Jaski in a good position to get out of the inning and preserve the 3-0 Michigan lead that the Wolverines plated back in the bottom of the first. We're here now at Ann Arbor's Ray Fisher Stadium in the top of the second. Oklahoma with runners at first and second, but 2 outs for Cade Harris, the third baseman. Behind 0-1. Harris delivers, swung on into the netting behind home plate. 0-2. Jaski looking for his 3rd strikeout of the game. In a good spot ahead, 0-2 of Cade Harris. Harris not a usual starter for Oklahoma. This just his 6th start of the season. The 0-2 pitch. Jaski trying to get him chase on high and outside. Harris does not comply. 1-2. Michigan on top of 18th ranked Oklahoma. The 13th ranked Wolverines lead at 3-0 here in the top of the second. 2 outs. Cade Harris behind of Oliver Jaski. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Late time called for by the hitter Harris. Looking to avoid his 10th strikeout of the year. Batting just 143 in the 8th spot for the Sooners. The 1-2 pitch. A grounder will get into right field. Engelman will get there. They're going to send the runner home. Engelman's throw to the plate in time, but Wenson not able to hang on to it. And Oklahoma has a run. It was a nice throw by Engelman. It would have been a really tough play. Wenson not able to hang on to the rope from right field. As it gets out of his glove, a collision of sorts. Initiated by Walker, was at second running all the way on contact with 2 outs in the inning, and he plates the first run of the game for Oklahoma. It's now 3-1 in favor of Michigan. But a 2-out single to right by Cade Harris gives him his 5th RBI of the year on just his 4th hit of the season. Runners remain at first and second. Still 2 outs here in the top of the second, but Oklahoma has gotten back within 2. Wenson has to give chase on a pitch that just squirted by him for a moment. The runner's not able to advance. The low pitch is a ball, 1-0 to the 9-hitter, Brandon Zaragoza. Zaragoza batting .256 with runners in scoring position this season. He's got one in O'Brien at second. That pitch in the dirt as well, blocked by Wenson. The count, though, 2-0. The 8-9 hitters looking to come up big for Oklahoma. The 8-hitter Harris has plated their first run. Zaragoza looking to continue that success. Ahead in the count, 2-0. The 2-0 pitch, grounded, fouled, just left of the third base bag, where it's gloved by Lugbarrow, who fires it back to the mound. The Oklahoma base runners will retreat back to second and first, respectively. With 2 outs here in the top of the second, Oklahoma trailing the 13th ranked Michigan Wolverines 3-1 here at the University of Michigan's Ray Fisher Stadium. Jaski at 34 pitches coming into this at bat. Throws one low. That's blocked once again by Wenson in the left-handed batter's box. Runs the count to 3-1. Jaski 1 pitch away from loading the bases, which is how Michigan plated all 3 runs back in the first via walks and hit by pitches with the bases juiced. Oklahoma looking to load them here in the top of the second. Starting their comeback early, already getting 1 back here in the top of the second after trailing 3-0 after 1. The 3-1 pitch in there at the knees for a called strike, runs the count full with 2 outs here in the top of the second. O'Brien, the runner at second. Harris, the runner at first. The batter, Brandon Zaragoza. Lefty Jaski flares the glove, collects the baseball, delivers the payoff pitch, blasted into left field, but getting underneath it is Lewis, just shy of the warning track. It looked good off the bat, but Lewis had a good jump on it all the way, allowed out for out number 3, sends us to the bottom of the second. Michigan on top, 3-1 on the Michigan Baseball Student Radio Network, WCBN FM Ann Arbor.
They'll challenge your authority. They'll try to break your will. They'll push you to the edge of your sanity. Because that's what kids do. But this car is your territory, not theirs. Defend it. Who makes the payments? Who cleans it? Who drives it? You do. That's who. And in here, your word is law. So when you say you won't move until everyone's buckled up, you won't budge an inch. Until you hear that click. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. For more information, visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup.
I rescued Toast from a shelter in 2011. I love Toast because she's a lazy diva. Toast does whatever she wants, obviously. She's sleeping right now. She's so loving. She's so comforting. When I walked into the shelter, I knew right then that she was special.
Toast, Instagram star and shelter pet. Amazing adoption stories start in shelters. Start yours today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. Take 1.
Behold the angry giant.
Try it again, Alberto.
Behold the angry giant.
Perfect. Good luck tonight.
Behold the angry giant.
Yay! Read me another one, Dad.
This is WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Start of Michigan's plate appearances here in the second. It'll be the top of the order after Michigan plated 3 runs back in the first. They lead the 18th ranked Oklahoma Sooners 3-1. You're listening to Michigan baseball on WCBN FM Ann Arbor. Akeo Thomas back in there after walking as the leadoff man back in the first. New pitcher, though, for him at least, as Dylan Grove, the starter, chased out of this game after 5 walks and a hit by pitch. Allowed Michigan to plate 3 runs. The Wolverines still looking for their first hit of the game. Ryan Madden, the right-hander, back on the bump for Oklahoma after relieving Grove. He's behind Akeo Thomas 2-1 after that pitch misses at the shoestrings. A good start for the Wolverine hitters back in the first without any hits. Thomas looking to change that here in the bottom of the second, but he may not get a chance to take the medal off the right shoulder. He's now ahead 3-1 of that after that pitch misses low and inside. Madden went to Fairview High School in Colorado, 6'3", 180 right-hander. Inside, draws the hands up from Thomas, and for the second straight plate appearance, he reaches via a base on balls. That brings up Johnny Slater, who had a hard hit off his bat back in the first to the right fielder Wahlberg for a line out. Looking for better luck this time around with Akeo Thomas back at first via a walk. Thomas stole second back in the first inning. You'd certainly expect him to be off and running at some point during Johnny Slater's plate appearance here. Thomas bluffs like he's going to go. Slater takes all the way. That fastball low and outside for a ball, 1-0. From Ryan Madden to Johnny Slater. Slater's batting average is jet back below 300, now batting .299 on the year, looking to boost it with a base hit here. Thomas at first, the 1-0 pitch, that one low, 2-0. Both pitchers for Oklahoma struggling to find the strike zone here early on. Grove out, Madden in. And after giving up a walk to lead off the inning to Akeo Thomas, he's behind the second hitter for Michigan, both in their lineup and in this inning, Johnny Slater. The Southfield, Michigan native ahead in the count, 2-0. Madden set. And a pickoff. Thomas was only a step from the bag, so he's in comfortably and safely. Michigan on top, 3-1 over Oklahoma here in the bottom of the second. The 2-0 pitch to Slater. Delivered and sent foul down the first baseline. We'll do it again, this time at 2-1. Akeo Thomas looking for a chance to run. The right fielder for Oklahoma, Wahlberg, had to go chase down that foul ball and fire it into his Oklahoma bullpen along the right field line. The count 2-1 between Madden and Slater. The 2-1 pitch in there for a called strike, 2-2. Madden looking for his second strikeout in relief of the starter Dylan Grove, who gave up 3 runs on 5 walks and a hit by pitch back in the first. Akeo Thomas led off the game with the walk. He leads off this inning with the walk. Is at first. The lefty Slater readies for the 2-2. We'll pop this one up into center field. Hollis underneath it for out number 1 here in the bottom of the second. Thomas back to first base. Michael Berdar back up at the plate. The 6'1", 175-pound senior from Pleasanton, California. Came to Michigan by way of Diablo Valley College, also De La Salle High School. One out here in the bottom of the second. Pickoff attempt. Trying to get a KO. Thomas sleeping at first. He was not. Thomas got picked off against Eastern Michigan back on Tuesday, looking to avoid a similar fate this afternoon with the one away. Here in the bottom of the second. Berdar still waiting for his first pitch out of the right hand of Madden. Thomas going, but they swing and foul up over the netting behind home plate will send Thomas back to first. He got another good jump on that one. But Berdar saw a pitch he wanted to put back in play. His attempt unsuccessful. And now he's behind Madden 0-1 with Thomas back at first base. The pitcher, Madden, ever conscious of the speedster, and a pitch out. Runs the count even at 1-1. The chess match between the two coaches. Michigan, known for their aggressive base running. Oklahoma certainly knows the scouting report. If they can get a pitch out and concede a ball in exchange for a thrown out runner trying to advance, which Thomas will do here. The pitch was in their first strike. The throw on the money. An absolute dart delivered by the catcher. Martinez gets Thomas, who's caught stealing at second. The fourth time he's been caught stealing this year. Now 2 outs in the inning. The base is empty. And that last pitch was also a strike to run the count to 1-2 against Berdar. Ryan Madden getting some help from his catcher there. Martinez delivers on the throw to second to get Thomas caught stealing. The 1-2 pitch to Berdar. Swung on and missed. Strike 3, the second strikeout of the afternoon for Madden out of the bullpen. Michigan still with a 3-run lead, but the momentum in favor of the Crimson and Cream as we head to the top of the third on the Michigan Baseball Student Radio Network, WCBN FM Ann Arbor.
They'll challenge your authority. They'll try to break your will. They'll push you to the edge of your sanity. Because that's what kids do. But this car is your territory, not theirs. Defend it. Who makes the payments? Who cleans it? Who drives it? You do. That's who. And in here, your word is law. So when you say you won't move until everyone's buckled up, you won't budge an inch. Until you hear that click. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. For more information, visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup.
I rescued Toast from a shelter in 2011. I love Toast because she's a lazy diva. Toast does whatever she wants, obviously. She's sleeping right now. She's so loving. She's so comforting. When I walked into the shelter, I knew right then that she was special.
Toast, Instagram star, and shelter pet. Amazing adoption stories start in shelters. Start yours today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Top of the third here at Ray Fisher Stadium. Michigan on top of Oklahoma, 3-1. Oliver Jaski back on the mound, and the left-hander misses on a pitch low and outside for a ball. 1-0 to Ben Hollis, the center fielder, hitting in the leadoff spot for the Sooners. Sends the 1-0 pitch back up the middle. Slater reads it perfectly and takes a little hop for good measure to make the catch for out number 1. That brings up the right fielder, Quinn Wahlberg, who struck out swinging back in the first. One of 2 strikeouts Oliver Jaski has through now 2 and a third innings pitched. One out here in the top of the third. Michigan on top 3-1. Wahlberg shows bunt, pulls back. But it's still a called strike. The infield was not ready for it. They'll be more prepared here if Wahlberg shows bunt once again. However, both Bivens and Lugbauer, the corner infielders, tracking back and then creeping in as the pitch is delivered and swung on and missed. Jaski had 0-2, looking for his second strikeout against Wahlberg in this game. The 0-2. Wasted. Low in the dirt, trying to get Wahlberg to chase. Good block by Wenson. Not necessary with the bases empty, but shows good form anyway. The count now 1-2. Jaski fans the glove, adjusts the baseball, gets his grip on it, delivers strike 3 low and outside. A nice catch made by Wenson. Did not need the throw to first. He does so anyway as they throw it around the horn. Jaski 3 strikeouts now on the afternoon for the second time in as many at-bats. Wahlberg goes down swinging against the junior left-hander. Two outs here now in the top of the third. Michigan still leading Oklahoma 3-1 in the start of this 3-game series that will culminate during the middle of Michigan's spring game this Saturday. Jack Flansburgh, who grounded out to the first baseman Bivens back in the first. Back in the left-handed batter's box. Ahead 1-0. Check swing. Did he go? Third base umpire Robert Wright says no. The count now 2-0. To Jack Flansburgh, who's walked 29 times this year. He's also struck out 19. Jaski's 2-0 pitch. In at the knees for a called strike, 2-1. Jaski looking for back-to-back Ks to send us to the bottom half of the third. Two outs here in the top of the third. The 2-1 pitch from Jaski to Flansburgh. That one misses low. The count now 3-1. The 3-1 pitch. That one misses low, much to the chagrin of the Michigan fans in attendance here at Ray Fisher Stadium. A 2-out walk given by Jaski to Flansburgh. Keeps the inning alive here for the cleanup hitter, Steele Walker. Walker, the sophomore, 5'11", 190 out of Prosper, Texas, where he played his high school baseball at Prosper High. Was hit by a pitch thrown by Jaski back in the second, part of the one-run Oklahoma plated, as he was the guy who scored it. Pitch outside to Walker, 1-0. Flansburgh at first. The 1-0 pitch in there over the inside part of the plate to even the count at 1-1 out of the hand of Oliver Jaski. Opponents hitting .216 with 2 outs against Oliver Jaski this season. With runners on base, just 195. That pitch just misses low. The strike zone continues to shrink for home plate umpire Stephen Linton. The count now 2-1 in favor of the hitter, Steele Walker. 2 outs in the inning, the 2-1 pitch. And that one misses low and outside for a ball, 3-1. Walker looking to reach base safely for the second state plate appearance after being hit by a pitch back in the second. The man at first, Flansburgh, reached on a walk with 2 outs in the inning. Still 2 outs, Jaski behind 3-1. pickoff just to provide a breath for Jaski, who was nowhere close to throwing out Flansburgh at first. Hard to take a big lead if you're the base runner with the lefty on and you right in his crosshairs at first base. A grounder off the bat to Bivens for out number 3. Good work by Jaski. Keeps the lead at 2 for the Wolverines as we head to the bottom of the third. It's 3-1 in favor of your Michigan Wolverines on the Michigan Baseball Student Radio Network, WCBN FM, Ann Arbor.
Attention men under the age of 35. You know what really impresses the ladies? When a guy has a few drinks and later gets pulled over for buzz driving. That could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. There goes let's grab dinner and a movie. Oh, I know. You drive more carefully when you're buzzed. You've proven that hundreds of times. A woman admires that kind of confidence. And you've practiced how to speak if a cop does pull you over. Slowly, clearly, and politely like, "Good evening, officer." A woman admires that kind of foresight. And what woman doesn't find it adorable that you call it buzzed even though the law calls it drunk? You could kiss $10,000 goodbye, along with any chance of having a girlfriend. Because nothing says, "I'm a catch," more than a guy who lives in his parents' basement and calls it my place.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. And they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
I rescued Toast from my shelter in 2011.
Michigan bats are back here in the bottom of the third. The Wolverines lead the Oklahoma Sooners 3-1 in this pivotal non-conference series for Michigan's chances of hosting postseason play here in Ann Arbor. Drew Lugbauer, who walked back in the first, one of 5 players to reach base via the walk back in that inning. And hit by pitch as well, gives the Wolverines those 3 runs. Dylan Grove chased out of the game in the first inning. Brian Madden, the man who replaced him, remains out there, and he's dealing right now. The count even at 1-1. Madden entered with the bases loaded, left him loaded as he exited. Maize and Blue remain without a hit. Despite that, they have a 2-run lead. Lugbauer taking all the way there, that breaking ball low. 2-1. The 2-1 at the shoestrings inside. 3-1 now to Drew Lugbauer, looking to reach base via the walk for the second straight plate appearance. The 3-1 belted off the bat, the grounder to Flansburgh at second. Over to first for out number 1. That brings up Miles Lewis, who walked as well back in the first inning. Lewis batting .294 on the year. As Ryan Madden continues his impressive relief appearance for the Oklahoma Sooners on the mound. His team still trails 3-1, but the Wolverines would like to add more to their 2-run lead. Lewis takes a breaking ball in there for a strike, 0-1. That pitch misses to run the count even at 1-1. The 1-1 pitch Low and outside for a ball, 2-1. One out here in the bottom of the third. The Wolverines on top, 3-1. Miles Lewis takes the 2-1 pitch. Low for a ball, 3-1. The 3-1 paints the black over the outside part of the plate to run the count full to Miles Lewis. Ryan Madden looking for his third strikeout in relief. The payoff pitch. Inside part of the plate, strike 3 called. 3 strikeouts for Ryan Madden. Miles Lewis drew the hips back like it was going to hit him. Didn't fool the home plate umpire, Stephen Litton. With an emphatic strike 3 call. 2 away here in the bottom of the third. Michigan still on top, 3-1. Pitch in the dirt, blocked by Martinez. Jake Bivens back in there. Walked in the first and got an RBI to his credit as well. Had 1-0 here. Liner into deep center field. Tracking it just shy of the warning track is Hollis for out number 3. So the Wolverines go 3 up, 3 down. We head to the top of the fourth. Michigan still on top of Oklahoma in this nationally ranked matchup. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. Wolverines on top, 3-1.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I liked things to always be the same. Anything new or different would scare and upset me. I was very sensitive to lights and sounds. It was almost like I had bigger eyes and ears than everyone else. So I built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. I didn't like looking people in the eye. It made me feel uncomfortable. I'd throw big tantrums over little things like when my socks didn't match. Sometimes I'd do the same things over and over. Until one day, I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
You can see signs of autism in children as young as 18 months. Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I liked things to always be the same. Anything new or different would scare and upset me. I was very sensitive to lights and sounds. It was almost like I had bigger eyes and ears than everyone else. So I built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. I didn't like looking people in the eye. It made me feel uncomfortable. I'd throw big tantrums over little things like when my socks didn't match.
Michigan on top of Oklahoma, 3-1. Top of the fourth underway. Oliver Jaski, the big left-hander, delivers a pitch high and outside for a ball to Austin O'Brien, Oklahoma's first baseman, who singled back in the second. Jaski's 1-0 pitch inside, swing and a miss. To even the count at 1-1. Jaski at 58 pitches here in the top of the fourth. The 1-1 at the letters, but outside, 2-1. Jaski just 1 walk so far this afternoon, 3 strikeouts, and he's given up 1 earned run on 2 hits. The 2-1 to O'Brien. Inside, must have missed low. on the count to 3-1. Linton's at a consistent, if not strict, strike zone so far this afternoon, but Jaski's navigated it well. And that pitch just missed low. Even O'Brien, the batter, took an extra beat. He wasn't sure that would be called the ball. It is, and the leadoff man aboard via the walk. Now the tying run comes to the plate. Here in the top of the fourth, Michigan on top of Oklahoma 3-1 in a matchup between two top 20 teams here at Ann Arbor's Ray Fisher Stadium, a rare non-conference game and series in the midst of Big Ten play between the Big 12's Oklahoma Sooners and the Big 10's Michigan Wolverines. The catcher, Renee Martinez, back in the right-handed batter's box, struck out back in the second. Pickoff to O'Brien, scooped off the dirt on a hop by Bivens. Jaski's got to be careful not to allow O'Brien to advance to second on a pickoff gone awry. But nice glove work there by Bivens to keep that ball in the infield. Runner at first via a leadoff walk. Renee Martinez readies for the first pitch of the at-bat. Shows bunt, pulls back, and it was the wise decision. That one misses low and outside. Oklahoma with 2 hits, Michigan still with none, but the Wolverines still have that 3-1 lead via the 5 walks and the hit by pitch back in the first inning against the starter Dylan Grove. His reliever has looked really good, though, for Oklahoma, so run's going to be tough to come by if Madden keeps it going on the bump for the Crimson and Cream. The count 1-1 to Renee Martinez. Jaski looking and firing over to first. The pickoff forces O'Brien to track back. First baseman Bivens remains at the bag looking to apply a tag, and he'll get the chance to do so again. Well, late, but back-to-back pickoff moves by the lefty, Oliver Jaski. Martinez has walked 9 times this year, struck out 8 times. He's at 2-1 as that pitch misses outside. Perhaps Jaski more preoccupied at this moment with the runner at first than the task at hand, which is Renee Martinez at home plate. Martinez batting .352 this year with 5 home runs and 26 RBIs. Readies for the 2-1 pitch. That one well wide of the target and outside. And no activity to speak of in the Michigan bullpen, but we're going to have an infield conference on the mound as pitching coach Sean Kenny, also in his 5th season, coming over with Eric Bakich to Michigan. Kenny heads out to the bump to conference with the infield with Renee Martinez at the plate ahead of Oliver Jaski, 3-1. Michigan with a 3-1 lead, but Oklahoma continues to threaten each and every inning. Decent crowd for an early afternoon start, considering the weather of this midweek game as well. Expecting much better crowds the remainder of the weekend, though, especially on Saturday with the spring game and the lacrosse game at the Big House. And a battle of top 20 teams here at Ray Fisher Stadium. Michigan leading Oklahoma 3-1 here in the top of the 4th. Runner at first. Martinez, the Oklahoma catcher, in the batter's box. Ahead in the count 3-1 is another pickoff coming to Bivens. Trying to keep the runner at first. Austin O'Brien honest. O'Brien 4 for 4 on stolen base attempts this season. The 3-1 pitch from Jaski just misses outside. Runners at first and second to lead things off here in the top of the fourth, with the tying run now at first base on back-to-back walks to start this inning. That's 3 walks now thrown by Jaski so far in this game. His pitch count up to 66. And now the leading run at the dish for the Sooners in the form of designated hitter Briley Ware. With runners in scoring position this year, Ware red hot, batting .355. Shows bunt. Got a piece of it, and it's caught by Wenson anyway. 0-1. Oklahoma looking to play small ball here, move the tying run into scoring position with runners at first and second. No one out here in the top of the fourth. The 0-1 pitch, bunt shown again. This time it's fouled up into the netting behind home plate to run the count to 0-2. How confident is Oklahoma's head coach Pete Hughes in his designator Briley Ware's ability to lay down the bunt? We'll find out with 2 strikes against him. If he squares up once again, obviously couldn't afford to foul it off a third time. The third baseman Lugbauer playing in on the infield grass. The 0-2 pitch, low and outside. Jaski wisely trying to get Ware to chase. He doesn't. 1-2. The lefty on righty matchup should favor Jaski, who's on the mound, looking for his 4th strikeout of the afternoon. He induces a pop-up to right field instead. Tracking even further back is Engelman. They're going to tag up O'Brien at second, who slides into third. Runners on the corners with 1 out here in the top of the fourth. Michigan's lead remains at 3-1 as Jaski induces the fly out to right for the first out of this 4th inning. And now a ground ball in the infield could send the Wolverines to the dugout and preserve the 2-run lead. The catcher Wenson signaling to his infielders. We'll see if Oklahoma tries to double steal. With the catcher Martinez at first, O'Brien, the lead runner, at third. Squaring up to bunt, heading for home is O'Brien. Jaski will throw it to home, and Wenson applies the tag. Nice heads-up baseball there. A hard collision, though, between O'Brien and Wenson. The helmet that the catcher Wenson wears came flying off. He took a hard shoulder by the burly O'Brien. O'Brien listed at 200 pounds, and he ran smack dab into Harrison Wenson, but Wenson hangs on to the baseball after Jaski fielded the bunt off the bat of Cade Harris. So now 2 outs. Runners at first and second. Jaski with the heads-up play, getting it to his catcher at home to apply the tag. Brings up Brandon Zaragoza, and Michigan with an opportunity to leave 2 stranded and send us to the bottom of the fourth, preserving this 3-1 Michigan lead over the 18th ranked Oklahoma Sooners here at Ray Fisher Stadium. Zaragoza behind 0-1. That pitch outside evens the count at 1-1. Martinez at second, Harris at first. Two outs here in the top of the fourth. Jaski's 1-1 pitch. Wenson in the dirt. Skipping off some of the artificial chalk that makes up the left-handed batter's box. Righty Zaragoza readies to face the 2-1 pitch with a runner in scoring position in the form of Rene Martinez at second. The 2-1 blasted into center field. Getting underneath it is Slater. Camps under it and catches it with the glove in the right hand for out number 3. Jaski walks the high wire but escapes the jam. And the Wolverines head to the bottom half of the fourth on top 3-1 on the Michigan Baseball Student Radio Network, WCBN FM, Ann Arbor.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I liked things to always be the same. Anything new or different would scare and upset me. I was very sensitive to lights and sounds. It was almost like I had bigger eyes and ears than everyone else. So I built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. I didn't like looking people in the eye. It made me feel uncomfortable. I'd throw big tantrums over little things like when my socks didn't match. Sometimes I'd do the same things over and over. Until one day, I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
You can see signs of autism in children as young as 18 months. Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're
Michigan leads Oklahoma 3-1. Bottom of the fourth. Coming up here, the leadoff man this inning is the designator, Nick Poirier. He takes a first pitch outside, 1-0. Ryan Madden now 2 in the third innings of work in relief of Dylan Grove, who had 5 walks and a hit by pitch that led to Michigan's 3 runs in this game. Michigan still hitless. Madden with 3 strikeouts and a walk. Now at 37 pitches. In relief of Grove, the starter. The 1-1 pitch fouled up and out of play to run the count to 1-2, as that one will skip over the parking lot separating Ray Fisher Stadium from Yost Ice Arena. The count 1-2 to Nick Poirier. Madden sets, and of the windup delivers. Just missing outside. The count even at 2-2. Two pitch swung on, sent into center field. Underneath it is Hollis, who has to track it at the last minute. He misread that horribly, as that one's going to fall off the turf for technically a base hit, but that really should be an error. Hollis was tracking back. Poirier didn't give that a ride. That's really a bloop single that managed to find some green grass out in center field, but just poorly read by Hollis. Will technically lead to Michigan's first hit in this game. Obviously no error coming because Hollis didn't come close to making contact with that baseball, but it was poorly read. It should have been an easy fly out. Instead, it's a base hit that allows Nick Poirier to reach first safely for Michigan's first hit in this game. Their lead remains 3-1. The leadoff man aboard, and Jonathan Engelman at the plate, who walked back in the first, and his walk also an RBI. Pitch in the dirt, blocked by Martinez, will hold Poirier at first. Engelman, the right fielder, batting .309 on the season, an on-base percentage of .424, remarkable for a guy who hits in the 8 spot. Man on first, the 1-0 pitch. Fastball in at the knees for a called strike, 1-1. Poirier, 5 for 7 on stolen base attempts this season. Looking to run at first, perhaps. They count at 1-1. The pickoff, though, coming out of the hand of Madden. The tag applied late. The first baseman, Austin O'Brien. Engelman looking to lead off this inning with back-to-back hits. The count even at 1-1 against him. Right-hander Madden sets, delivers. Inside, blocked by Martinez. 2-1. The Wolverines hoping to add some insurance runs at some point for not only their starter, Oliver Jaske, who's currently in line for the win, but also their stellar bullpen, in which it really always feels like the lead is safe, but Michigan would like to win this one comfortably if they can. Runner at first, no one out here in the bottom of the fourth. Michigan on top, 3-1. Inside pitch for a strike, 2-2. No outs here, bottom of the fourth. Michigan on top, 3-1. The count even at 2-2 against Jonathan Engelman. Nick Poirier at first with 2 strikes against Engelman. Perhaps Poirier will look to run. He will track back, and a swing and a miss will send Engelman to the dugout. He goes down swinging. One away here in the bottom of the fourth with the 9-hitter, Harrison Wenson, who struck out with the bases loaded back in the first. He was the first batter that Ryan Madden faced in relief, looking to make amends after leaving him loaded back in the first inning. He stepped in the right-handed batter's box here in the fourth with Nick Poirier at first, 1 away. Michigan on top of Oklahoma, 3-1. Poirier at first. The first pitch, Wenson sees, he grounds down the third base line. It stays fair. The throw across the diamond beats Wenson by a step. A strong throw by the third baseman Harris over to O'Brien. Poirier moves over to second, but there are now 2 outs here in the bottom of the fourth. K.O. Thomas, who's walked in both plate appearances so far in this game, looking for his first registered at-bat of the contest. He walked back in the first and second. Now in the fourth, he has a runner in scoring position in the form of Nick Poirier, and with 2 outs, if he can put it anywhere in the outfield, it'll likely play to run with Poirier going on contact. The third baseman, Harris, tracking in almost even depth with the third base bag for the speedster Thomas, who can get infield hits as well as just about anyone. The first pitch he sees is at the shoestrings, bounces off the artificial dirt that surrounds home plate. Martinez with the block, falling to his knees to prevent Poirier from advancing to third. 2 outs here in the bottom of the fourth. Michigan leading Oklahoma 3-1. A runner at second for the leadoff man, K.O. Thomas. The 1-0 pitch. Thigh high for a called strike over the heart of the plate, 1-1. Thomas batting .346 this season, the on-base percentage up to .472 for Michigan's leadoff man out of Chicago, Illinois. Ryan Madden sets, fires the 1-1, sent back up the middle. The shortstop, Zaragoza, fires it across in time for out number 3. And Madden strands Nick Poirier at second as we head to the top of the fifth. The Wolverines still on top, though, of the Oklahoma Sooners 3-1 on the Michigan Baseball Student Radio Network, WCBN FM, Ann Arbor.
Listen, my life changed because someone was there to get me to use drugs. No one understands. Whether or not they've struggled with addiction themselves, people seem to think that having someone who will listen is going to help make it better. I'm realizing that I need help.
I'm listening.
I need help. I'm realizing that I think that having someone who will listen is going to help make it better. Whether or not they've struggled with addiction themselves, people seem to understand. No one can get me to use drugs. My life changed because someone was there to listen.
1 in 7 Americans will struggle with addiction during their lifetime. Want to know how you can help? Go to heretolisten.com for tips and tools to help turn addiction around. A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma.
Top of the 5th here. And Oliver Jaski got a piece of the first batter he faces in this inning, Ben Hollis, who is 0 for 2 prior. Just took one off the hands, and he will reach first base safely. Once again, the leadoff man aboard for Oklahoma. Pitches thrown from Jaski now at 75. Quinn Wahlberg, who struck out swinging both in the first and third, back up at the plate with the leadoff man Hollis at first. Showing bunt and pulling back. It was a ball, 1-0. Wahlberg shows bunt once again and sends this one foul down the first base line. 1-1. Jaski closing in and dropping his ERA under 4. Has the count even at 1-1 against Wahlberg, with Hollis at first. No outs here in the top of the 5th. Michigan on top of Oklahoma, 1-1. The third baseman, Lugbauer, is in. And another bunt attempt fouled off into the netting behind home plate this time to send the count to 1-2. Oklahoma unsuccessfully trying to play small ball once again. Unable to lay down a bunt last inning. And now the head coach, Pete Hughes, will come out of his dugout to counsel with the right fielder, Wahlberg, who's back at the plate for the third time this afternoon. Wahlberg, a junior out of Edmond, Oklahoma, where he attended Edmond Santa Fe. 5'11", 165 pounds. The righty still talking with his head coach. And he'll step back in the right-handed batter's box with Hollis at first. Top 5 here in Ann Arbor. Michigan on top of Oklahoma, a battle of 2 top 20 teams. Michigan ranked 13th, Oklahoma 18th. Michigan looking to jumpstart this 3-game series with a victory after plating 3 runs on 5 walks and a hit by pitch back in the first. Just 2 hits for Oklahoma, 1 for the Wolverines, but Michigan's got a 3-1 lead. Swinging this time is Wahlberg, and he pops one up out of play, foul. Has to get defensive with the count at 1-2 in order to avoid striking out for the 3rd time this game. The 1-2. Inside, just missing. Linton very disciplined as the home plate umpire, not granting anything in favor of Oliver Jaski so far in this game. The count even now at 2-2 to Quinn Wahlberg. Swing and a miss. And for the 3rd time this game, Quinn Wahlberg goes down swinging. Jaski 4 strikeouts on the afternoon. 1 away here in the top of the 5th.
Second base hit number 7, Jack Flansburgh.
As Oliver Jaski now at 62 strikeouts on the season, looking to improve his record to 5-1. His team leading it 3-1 here in the 5th. Jack Flansburgh back up at the plate. Hollis remains at first. This one lined back up the middle. Slater gets a good read on it. Tracks it down for a loud out number 2. Nice work there by Jaski to give Flansburgh a pitch he thought he could drive. His assumptions were incorrect, and the sure-handed Slater, no trouble making that catch. With the wind blowing out towards the big house, off in the distance of right field. Beautiful skyline behind Ray Fisher Stadium with Chrysler Center and the big house off in the distance. Over in left field, Oosterbaan Fieldhouse, and of course, right behind center field is Alumni Field, the home of the nationally ranked Michigan softball team that got a big win over Michigan State yesterday. The Wolverines here on the baseball diamond looking for a big win this afternoon off the bat of Steele Walker. He flies to left, and Lewis, his trademark move of flipping off the cap before making the catch, does so. And that sends us to the bottom of the 5th. Michigan still on top 3-1 on the Michigan Baseball Student Radio Network, WCBN FM, Ann Arbor.
Listen, my life changed because someone was there to get me. Listen.
They'll challenge your authority. They'll try to break your will. They'll push you to the edge of your sanity. Because that's what kids do. But this car is your territory, not theirs. Defend it. Who makes the payments? Who cleans it? Who drives it? You do. That's who. And in here, your word is law. So when you say you won't move until everyone's buckled up, you won't budge an inch. Until you hear that click. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. For more information, visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone. She even likes her untidy roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Bottom of the 5th here at Ray Fisher Stadium. Michigan on top of Oklahoma 3-1. Oklahoma coming into this one ranked 18th in the country. Michigan 13th. The two-hitter Johnny Slater, who lined out to right and flew out to center back in the 1st and 2nd, respectfully. Back in the batter's box. The lefty takes a first pitch strike, 0-1. Ryan Madden back out there for the 4th inning of relief work after replacing Dylan Grove, who gave up 3 runs via 5 walks and a hit by pitch back in the 1st. Michigan looking to plate another run here in the bottom of the 5th. The 1-1 pitch to Slater. Misses low and inside for a ball, 2-1. Right side of the infield playing well deep for the left-handed Slater. The 2-1 spikes over the plate. 3-1 to Slater, a guy you don't want to allow to reach base via the walk. He's 9 on stolen base attempts this season. The Wolverines, of course, the 2nd best stolen base team in the country. The 3-1, that one misses low. Slater is aboard with a leadoff walk here in the bottom of the 5th. Just the 2nd walk Ryan Madden has given up in this game. Only one hit so far for the Wolverines, but they still have a 3-1 lead based on some patient at-bats back in the first inning. Michael Berdar back up at the plate, who lined out to left in the first and struck out swinging in the second. We'll see if the Wolverines play small ball with the speedy Slater at first. But with how well Berdar has swung the bat this year, batting .309 and .329 with runners on base, not sure you want to take the at-bat out of his hands by having him lay down a bunt. And of course, not my decision. That's head coach Eric Bakkich's. We'll see what he decides to do with the shortstop up at the plate. Slater will have to track back to first, though, as Berdar pops this one up into the shallow left field where the shortstop Zaragoza tracks it down for out number 1. First pitch Berdar saw. He liked watching crack at it up to left field. Now with 9 home runs to his credit this year, number 10, perfect time to provide it is Drew Lugbauer. He walked back in the first, grounded out to second, back in the third. Slater remains at first base with one away here in the bottom of the fifth. Michigan on top 3-1. Ryan Madden throws a pickoff to Slater, who dives back in time, getting some artificial turf up on the jersey, but you're not going to find any guys with stains. With the entire field here artificial from everything, including the chalk and the dirt on the mound. It's all artificial, with makes it extremely beneficial for Michigan. They can use it year-round when the temperature is right, but snow, not a problem for this field, nor is rain. We're expecting some rain in the forecast on Saturday. Hopefully it holds off during the game on getaway day for the Oklahoma Sooners. A Thursday through Saturday series between 2 top 20 teams here at Ray Fisher Stadium. 1 out in the inning. Lugbauer takes one outside for a ball. 1-0 with Johnny Slater still at first. On deck, Miles Lewis. The 1-0 from Madden. Inside over the black of the plate. Evens the count at 1-1. One out here, bottom of the fifth. Michigan on top 3-1. Lugbauer blasts this one into center field. Tracking back is Hollis. Does it have enough to get out of the yard? It does! The 10th home run of the year for Drew Lugbauer. He leads all Wolverines, and he leads the Wolverines today to a 5-1 lead, a 2-1 shot to the deepest part of the ballpark. That may have found its way to the softball field as he drove that one out to the wall where it reads 395, and he clears the wall. Hollis made a jump on the wall to try to get a play on the baseball. Unsuccessfully, a blast off the bat of Drew Lugbauer makes it 5-1 for the Wolverines. Their second hit of the afternoon, none bigger, as Drew Lugbauer makes it a 4-run game in favor of the Wolverines. And there's the breathing room we were asking for. Home run number 10 on the year for Drew Lugbauer. And now 44 RBIs so far on the season for Lugbauer. Out of Pleasant Valley, New York, the junior with his biggest hit of the season right there. Miles Lewis steps back in. Puts bat to baseball there. The first baseman, O'Brien, fields it off a couple of hops and tags first unassisted for the second out of the inning. Bottom 5 here in Ann Arbor, Michigan on top 5-1 thanks to 5 walks and a hit by pitch back in the first off the starter, Dylan Grove, who couldn't finish the first inning, and now Ryan Madden in on relief gives up a 2-run shot to deep center field off the bat of Drew Lugbauer, plating Johnny Slater as well. Drew Lugbauer brings the Wolverine offense to life here in the fifth. Jake Bivens, who walked in the first and played an RBI on the walk and flew out to center back in the third, steps back in the left-handed batter's box and takes a strike all the way off the bat, or out of the right hand of Ryan Madden. Two away here in the bottom of the fifth. The 0-1 pitch to Bivens. Swung on at the hands. Defensive cut. Up and out of play over the Michigan dugout. Madden looking to respond with his fifth strikeout of the afternoon after giving up just the second hit all game for the Wolverines. And on those two hits, couldn't be more efficient. They've plated 5 runs. Two away here in the bottom of the fifth. The 0-2 pitch. Swung on, sent into left field. The shortstop Zaragoza camps under it a couple yards beyond the infield artificial dirt for out number 3. We head to the top of the 6th. Michigan on top 5-1 thanks to a 2-run blast by Drew Lugbauer to give the Wolverines a 4-run lead here on the Michigan Baseball Student Radio Network, WCBN FM, Ann Arbor.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets, and they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
I rescued Toast from a shelter in 2011. I love Toast because she's a lazy diva. Toast does whatever she wants, obviously. She's sleeping right now. She's so loving. She's so comforting. When I walked into the shelter, I knew right then that she was special.
Toast, Instagram star, and shelter pet. Amazing adoption stories start in shelters. Start yours today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council. Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets, and they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet.
Austin O'Brien.
The first baseman, Austin O'Brien, leading things off here in the 6th. Michigan on top 5-1. Oliver Jaski back out there on the mound for his 6th inning of work. An impressive performance for the junior after getting run out against Illinois in just 3 innings of work last week. He's responded like you'd expect your ace to do so. Giving up 1 earned run. He's had 4 strikeouts, 3 walks on just 2 hits for the Sooners. A nice bounce back game for the 2017 Big Ten player to watch. A high shot off the bat of O'Brien forces Lewis back to the left field wall. And that ball gets out of here. A home run with the wind helping carry it out. It looked like it might just be a ball that's tracked down at the wall by Lewis. His cap came off. He thought he might have a chance to make a play on it. It cleared that brick wall out in left field for a home run to make the lead down to 3 for the Wolverines. Tough to get a read off that ball off the bat. It looked like it was going to be a harmless fly ball with the wind blowing out in that direction towards center field. Allows the first baseman, Austin O'Brien, to plate his 4th home run of the year. Michigan still leads, though, 5-2. Jaski just has to get his confidence back. And he does so right away with a strike against the catcher, Rene Martinez. The 0-1 pitch paints the black on the outside part of the plate to run it to 0-2. And that solo shot just illuminates how important Drew Lugbauer's 2-run shot back in the bottom half of last inning may prove to be. It made it a 4-run game. It's now down to 3 after the leadoff home run here in the top of the 6th. Off the bat of Austin O'Brien. Jaski sets and fires the 0-2 pitch to Martinez. Check swing, he didn't go. No appeal even asked for from Harrison Wenson. 1-2. Michigan's got a couple guys up and getting loose in the bullpen. The 1-2 pitch from Jaski. Once again, misses outside to even the count at 2-2. Obviously, with the Wolverines going 13 innings against Eastern Michigan just 2 days ago, Eric Bakich probably wants to be conservative with how many arms he brings out of the bullpen this afternoon, but with such a big series, Michigan can't afford to blow any leads. Jaski, though, giving him no reason to take him out of this game yet. Here in the top of the 6th, the lead remains 5-2. Another defensive foul tip keeps the count at 2-2 for Rene Martinez, who struck out back in the 2nd and walked in the 4th. Jaski fires the 2-2 pitch inside to run the count full. The fans not liking that here at Ray Fisher Stadium. Home plate umpire Stephen Linton never indicated there was a chance of that one being a strike. The count now full to Martinez. No outs here. Top 6. Michigan on top 5-2. The payoff pitch swung on and missed. Strikeout number 5 on the afternoon for Oliver Jaski as Martinez goes down swinging for the 2nd time in this game. 1 away now here in the top of the 6th. Michigan on top 5-2. The designated hitter, Briley Ware, who flew out to right both in the 2nd and 4th. Look in the end, the 0-for-2 Schneid so far with his 3rd at-bat of this game. The big lefty, Jaski, delivers. This one cranked into left field. He got a bit too underneath it. This time, though, as just shy of the brick wall at the 312 distance mark in left field is Lewis for out number 2. With the wind blowing out towards center field, though, you don't need your best swing on it to potentially get it out of the yard, as we saw with the leadoff man in this inning, Austin O'Brien, who had his 4th home run of the year to erase the deficit of 4 and make it just 3. Here in the top of the 6th, Michigan on top 5-2 with the 3rd baseman, Cade Harris, back at the plate, singled in the 2nd. That plated the 1st run of this game for Oklahoma, then grounded into a fielder's choice back in the 4th, in which Jaski was able to get the lead runner who was headed from 3rd to home. And that's proved to be a pivotal out as well, with Oklahoma continuing to battle in this game. They still trail by 3, and Jaski showing no signs of wear or tear on the rubber. Does not want to give this lead up. He wants to head back into the dugout and get through 6 innings. He's 1 pitch away from doing so, ahead of Harris. 0-2. The 0-2 pitch sent to Thomas, whose dive is not enough to get the baseball. And a 2-out single into center field off the bat of Cade Harris keeps the inning alive here in the 6th. Now the shortstop, Brandon Zaragoza, back up at the plate with Harris at first. Still 2 outs here in the top of the 6th. Michigan on top of 18th ranked Oklahoma, 5-2. Harris flew out to left back in the 2nd, flew out to center in the 4th. He's batting just 200 with 2 outs on the year. He finds himself in that position here in the 6th. Jaski now at 96 pitches, so this likely his last inning of work. The first pitch of Zaragoza's at bat, a breaking ball in there for a called strike, 0-1. Zaragoza looks to the dugout and head coach Pete Hughes for the signal. Harris at first, looking to run with 2 outs in the inning. The 0-1 pitch from Jaski to Zaragoza. And at the hands, a swing underneath that baseball, tips it into the netting behind home plate. 0-2. Now Zaragoza has to get defensive. Behind in the count, Jaski can try to get him to chase one out of the zone if he is so inclined. Pickoff temp will delay the suspense for a moment. Jaski looking to go 6 solid innings against the 18th ranked team in the country. Runner at first, 2 outs here in the 6th. Michigan on top 5-2. The 0-2 pitch to Zaragoza for the Sooners. The pitch, inside, swing and a miss. 6 strikeouts on the afternoon. Jaski gets a standing ovation from Michigan fans in attendance, and he sends us to the bottom half of the inning. His day likely done. He leaves in line for a victory with the Wolverines on top 5-2 as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning on the Michigan Baseball Student Radio Network, WCBN FM Ann Arbor.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. As a volunteer, you deliver a hot, nutritious meal and a friendly hello to someone just like your mother, grandfather, or next-door neighbor. These seniors are inspiring people with incredible stories to share, and they love to see you. The smiles you get back are priceless. Delivering with Meals on Wheels is easy, and you don't have to drive like me for it to be quick. You can volunteer your lunch break once a week or just once a month. With 1 in 6 seniors facing hunger and many more living in isolation, your lunch break can make a real difference. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. Take 1.
Behold the angry giant.
Try it again, Alberto.
Behold the angry giant.
Perfect. Good luck tonight.
Behold the angry giant.
Yay! Read me another one, Dad.
This is WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
The designated hitter Nick Poirier will lead things off here in the bottom of the 6th. His Wolverines leading at 5-2 on the Michigan Baseball Student Radio Network, WCBN FM Ann Arbor. I'm Leo Blavin, live at Ray Fisher Stadium for this top 20 matchup between 2 college baseball powers this season. Nick Poirier takes a first pitch out of the hand of Ryan Madden, who's now in his 5th inning of relief for the starting pitcher Dylan Grove, who walked 5 and hit Poirier back in the 1st as part of the 3 runs given up. Michigan still with just 2 hits in the game, but a big one coming last inning off the bat of Drew Lugbauer. Lugbauer driving it to the deepest part of the ballpark for his 10th home run of the year, 44 RBIs now in the season, both team highs for this potent Michigan offense that has played at 5 so far against the Sooners, looking for more here in the bottom of the 6th, with their designated hitter leading things off in the inning. He's ahead 2-0. Now 2-1 after that one paints the outside part of the plate. I'm not sure how that one's a called strike for home plate umpire Stephen Linton, who's been very tight with the strike zone against Michigan starter Oliver Jaski, whose day is likely done as he closed in on 100 pitches in the top half of the frame. The 2-1, that one, the same spot as the previous pitch, but this time it's a ball. 3-1. Linton, the home plate umpire, inconsistent. Michigan bats and pitching have been consistently good, though, all year. The case the same today. The 3-1, low at the knees for a called strike to run the count full. 3-2 for Nick Poirier. So Ryan Madden closes in on his 5th strikeout of the afternoon, and now 4 into 3rd innings of relief work. The 3-2 pitch sent back up the middle, gloved by the pitcher, and Madden flips it over to first for out number 1. That brings up the 8-hitter, Jonathan Engelman, who's batting .306 on the season. Engelman walked in a run back in the 1st, struck out swinging in the 4th. This is 3rd plate appearance of the afternoon. I suppose now that we've passed the 6 o'clock hour here in Ann Arbor, we can start referring to this game as being played in the early evening. Michigan on top, 5-2 over the 18th-ranked Oklahoma Sooners, the 13th-ranked Michigan Wolverines, battling against one of the Big 12's best and doing so successfully here in the first of this 3-game series. Pivotal for the Wolverines' chances of hosting a regional. They've obviously got to take care of business in conference, but it's not going to hurt the resume to beat some great non-conference opponents as well. And the Oklahoma Sooners, certainly the best team Michigan has faced all season in terms of resume. The 0-1 pitch to Engelman with 1 out in the inning, swung on and missed. Madden ahead 0-2. With the 9-hitter Harrison Wenson, Michigan's catcher on deck. Who will catch for next inning remains to be seen. 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. Michigan on top of Oklahoma 5-2. 2 strikes against Engelman. Still no balls in this at bat. The 0-2 pitch. Swung on. Defensive swing sent into the Michigan dugout where it's mishandled by a couple of Wolverines sitting on one of the benches along the fence. Or perhaps the protective netting, I should call it. The count remains at 0-2 for Jonathan Engelman. Madden delivers in the dirt, blocked by Martinez. 1-2 now. For the sophomore from San Mateo, California, standing in the right-handed batter's box at 6'3", 200 pounds. With his back toe on the chalk in that right-handed batter's box, he readies to face the 1-2 pitch. In at that right-footed shoestring. It's even the count at 2-2. Big opportunity for the Wolverines this weekend. They've made the most of it here early on. Looking to finish it out, likely with the bullpen the remainder of the way after a solid performance from Jaski. As Engelman swings and misses for strikeout number 5 this evening for Ryan Madden out of the bullpen. He's given up just 2 runs, but his Sooners still trail 5-2. But he's done just about everything he can with the exception of 1 bad pitch that Drew Lugbauer belted into the deepest part of the yard for a 2-run home run. Michigan's lead 5-2. Harrison Wenson struck out in the first with the bases loaded, grounded out to the shortstop. Or rather the third baseman, back in the 4th. Now a conference on the mound as Oklahoma has some activity in the bullpen. Some of their guys from the dugout trying to perhaps get the attention of guys in the bullpen. And I believe this maybe Ryan Madden's batter to face. He's still on the mound, and we have no sign that head coach Pete Hughes is going to exit the dugout. Now we get a pitch to confirm things, and Wenson swings and misses at it with the infield shaded far to the left for the pull hitter. Now Wenson will come and chat with head coach Eric Bakich in front of the Michigan dugout. The third baseman, Harris, hugging the third base line. The shortstop, Zaragoza, playing evenly split between second and third base, and the second baseman, Flansburgh, playing just a hair right of the second base bag. They're playing for Wenson to pull it. The center fielder playing just over the top of the left side of the block M, darkly shaded in the center field grass. They're playing for the pull. The wall out in left field, just 3-12. Wenson looking to drive one over it. The 0-1 pitch outside and in the dirt, blocked by Martinez. The count even at 1-1. The 1-1 pitch from Madden to Wenson, perhaps the last batter Madden's going to face in this game. He's hoping he can get out of the inning with 2 outs. And the score 5-2 in favor of Michigan here in the bottom of the 6th. The 1-1 pitch to Wenson. Misses low and outside, 2-1. Madden just not wanting to put anything over the inside half of the plate. That would allow Wenson to rip it down the left field line. The 2-1. Swung on and missed. 2-2. Mac Lozier, the right-hander, one of the guys getting loose for the Wolverines in the bullpen. Perhaps he'll be the guy coming in here in the next half inning, which will be the start of the 7th. Still in the bottom of the 6th at Ray Fisher Stadium. 5-2 in favor of the Wolverines. 2 outs in the inning. The 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. 6 strikeouts. Likely ends the afternoon and now evening for Madden. In a great relief appearance, he gives up just 2 runs on 2 hits, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts, and now 6. A solid even number of Ks to send him into the dugout and send us to the 7th. Michigan still leads 5-2 on the Michigan Baseball Student Radio Network, WCBN, FM, Ann Arbor.
Hey y'all, I'm Blake Shelton. I love that country music connects people all over this great nation, but unfortunately so does something else, childhood hunger. 15 million children struggle with hunger in America. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks works to rescue our surplus food to help provide billions of meals to families in need across the country. Join the fight against hunger at feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. As a volunteer, you deliver a hot, nutritious meal and a friendly hello to someone just like your mother, grandfather, or next-door neighbor. These seniors are inspiring people with incredible stories to share, and they love to see you. The smiles you get back are priceless. Delivering with Meals on Wheels is easy, and you don't have to drive like me for it to be quick. You can volunteer your lunch break once a week or just once a month. With 1 in 6 seniors facing hunger and many more living in isolation, your lunch break can make a real difference. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Much to my surprise, Oliver Jaske back out there to start the 7th. He threw 6 1/3, a season high back at Maryland on March 24th. He's at 99 pitches as we start the 7th with a lefty-on-lefty matchup. And perhaps that's why Eric Bakich has kept him in to battle with Ben Hollis, the leadoff man for the Sooners, before going to the bullpen with the right-handed Mac Lozier up and getting loose down the left field line. Jaske had 0-1. That one, though, missing low, evening the count at 1-1 to Ben Hollis. That one misses outside. 2-1 to Hollis. 0 for 2 on the afternoon, was hit by a pitch thrown by Jaske back in the 5th. Up to 102 pitches thrown by Jaske in this game. His 103rd is low and in the dirt. Inside, 3-1. The 3-1 pitch sent down the first base line. Bivens gets the glove to it. He flips it over to Jaske, covering from the mound for out number 1. Great defense and great hustle by the pitcher, Jaske, who left the mound and had to get over to first in a hurry as that ball was hard hit, and Bivens had to field it just shy of the outfield grass along the first base line and flipped it over to his pitcher for the first out here in the 7th. So Jaske has matched a season high, going 6 1/3. Now at 104 pitches against the 18th ranked Oklahoma Sooners. Right now he has a 3-run lead in his favor with the Maize and Blue on top of the Crimson and Cream 5-2 here on the Michigan Baseball Student Radio Network, WCBN FM Ann Arbor. And Michigan seems to be in no hurry. I think they're certainly going to go to the bullpen at this point. But at 104 pitches, Jaski gets set to deliver his 105th, and that's in there for a strike against the left-handed pinch hitter, Blake Brewster. So Oklahoma perhaps forcing Michigan's hand and keeping the lefty out there. Michigan looking to take advantage of the lefty-on-lefty matchup, and Jaski doing a good job of doing so early on in the count. He's ahead 0-2 with one away here in the top of the seventh. Michigan on top 5-2. Blake Brewster, a sophomore outfielder from Moore, Oklahoma. Pinch hitting for the right fielder, Quinn Wahlberg, who will likely replace defensively, and now he flies one out towards right field. This one tracking foul towards the Oklahoma bullpen, and it does land 4 or 5 yards inside it. No play to be made. An extra life for Brewster, the pinch hitter, who's batting .267 on the year. This just his 61st at-bat on the season, replacing Quinn Wahlberg. The count remains 0-2 for Oliver Jaski. The 0-2 pitch in there, called strike three. Jaski with 7 strikeouts on the afternoon. 1 out away from sending us to stretch time here in Ann Arbor. The Wolverines still on top 5-2. Jaski, a masterful performance on the mound this afternoon. 4 hits for Oklahoma and just 2 runs to show for it. They've stranded 7. Jaski not allowing them to strand any so far this inning. The bases remain empty. Pitch count up to 108. He's going to stay in it and try to finish off the 7th against Jack Flansburgh. This one sent to Akeo Thomas, charging in from second. Flips it underhand in time for out number 3. 3 up, 3 down, go the Sooners. A masterful performance for Oliver Jaski. He threw 109 pitches. He gets out of the 7th. We head to the stretch here in Ann Arbor at Ray Fisher Stadium. The Wolverines on top 5-2 over the 18th ranked Oklahoma Sooners on WCBN FM Ann Arbor.
I'm more resourceful than I thought.
My suit can still make an impression. My video games are still game changers.
And my lamp can bring others a bright future.
Because when I donate my stuff to Goodwill,
it helps fund job placement and training for people right in my community.
Now my stuff gets a second chance.
And will give someone in my community
a second chance too.
Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. That's goodwill.org. This message brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
When is the best time to talk to your family about staying in touch during a disaster? When floodwaters reach your door? When wildfires are engulfing the edge of your neighborhood? Or an earthquake is destroying buildings? When a tornado is tearing through town? Or a hurricane strikes? Or is the best time perhaps today? During a disaster, you may not be able to stay in touch with your family or friends as easily as you think. And it's not always as simple as using your cell phone. That's why now is the time to take action. Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hey y'all, I'm Blake Shelton. I love that country music connects people all over this great nation, but unfortunately so does something else, childhood hunger. 15 million children struggle with hunger in America. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks works to rescue our surplus food to help provide billions of meals to families in need across the country. Join the fight against hunger at feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Seventh inning stretch coming to an end. Michigan the 13th ranked team in the country, leading the 18th ranked program, Oklahoma. Wolverines on top 5-2 here in Ann Arbor for this 3-game non-conference series against one of the Big 12's best teams. Oklahoma entered this game with a record of 27-9. Michigan looking to send them to double digits in the loss column, and they're on their way. The leadoff man, Akeo Thomas, starting things off here in the bottom of the 7th for the Maize and Blue. New pitcher for the Crimson and Cream, Austin Kearns. A lefty comes in with a 3.26 ERA and a 2-2 record. This is 19 in the 3rd inning of work. He's allowed just 7 earned runs on the season and has 14 strikeouts. The count at 1-1, a slapper sent to the third baseman Harris, who fires it across the diamond to get the speedy Akeo Thomas out via grounder for the 2nd straight at bat. 1 out now here in the bottom of the 7th. Johnny Slater back up at the plate, walked back in the 5th, lined out to center, or to right rather, in the 1st, and flew out to center in the 2nd. Kearns, a redshirt junior lefty, stands on the artificial dirt that makes up this pitcher's mound here at Ray Fisher Stadium at 6'2", 215. Transferred into Oklahoma out of Eastern Oklahoma State. As he throws one that Slater takes all the way for a ball, 1-0. The 1-0 check swing, he went, and it's a called strike anyway, 1-1. Just 2 hits for the Maize and Blue in this game, but 5 walks and a hit by pitch back in the 1st. From Oklahoma starter Dylan Grove, plated the 3 runs for Michigan in the 1st, a 2-run home run off the bat of Drew Lugbauer. Back in the 5th, responsible for this Michigan 5-2 lead. Oklahoma with a solo home run from first baseman Austin O'Brien back in the 6th. Trying to get the Sooners back in this game. They've got to keep the Wolverine bats at bay the rest of the way, though. And that pitch low and outside runs the count to 2-2 with 1 away here in the bottom of the 7th for Johnny Slater, battling against the lefty Austin Kearns, the 3rd pitcher Oklahoma has thrown in this game. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3, Austin Kearns with his 15th strikeout of the season, and now 2 away here in the 7th. Efficient work so far for Kearns, who through 2 batters faced has made easy work of Michigan's top 2. Michael Berdar now up at the plate for the Wolverines. He's 0 for 3 on the afternoon. Lined out to left in the 1st, struck out swinging in the 2nd, and flew out to shallow left field where the shortstop Zaragoza tracked it down in the 5th. Takes one inside at the dirt, blocked by Martinez, 1-0. To Berdar, whose batting average has dipped to .307 in the midst of this 0 for 3 day. Two outs in the inning, the 1-0 pitch. Swung on, blasted into left field. Will it drop in fair territory? It does. Berdar making a hard charge for second. The throw from Walker is in time. A strike delivered by the left fielder. The tag applied by Flansburgh. And it sends us to the top of the 8th. Berdar got a bit too aggressive on the base paths. 6 outs still left to work with for the Sooners. And who else but Oliver Jaske coming back out on the mound. Remarkable stuff. He's going to go well over 110 if they let him face another batter. But he's back out there looking to preserve this 3-run lead as we head to the top of the 8th. Michigan on top 5-2 on the Michigan Baseball Student Radio Network, WCBN FM, Ann Arbor.
Attention men under the age of 35. You know what really impresses the ladies? When a guy has a few drinks and later gets pulled over for buzz driving. That could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. There goes let's grab dinner and a movie. Oh, I know. You drive more carefully when you're buzzed. You've proven that hundreds of times. A woman admires that kind of confidence. And you've practiced how to speak if a cop does pull you over. Slowly, clearly, and politely, like, "Good evening, officer." A woman admires that kind of foresight. And what woman doesn't find it adorable that you call it buzzed even though the law calls it drunk? You could kiss $10,000 goodbye, along with any chance of having a girlfriend. Because nothing says I'm a catch more than a guy who lives in his parents' basement and calls it my place.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Major key. Oliver Jaski back out there here in the 8th. He's gone 7 innings 4 times in his career, the last coming May 26 of 2016 against Minnesota. That's a career high. If he gets through this batter, it will be the longest outing of his maize and blue career for the junior and product of Granville High School in Ada, Michigan. He's behind 1-0, though, to Walker Steele, who was hit by a pitch in the second and scored the first run of the game for Oklahoma. A nubber off the inside of the bat, barehanded but not successfully by Berdar. It would have been a tough play. He was playing deep for the shortstop position, just on the edges of the outfield grass, not able to field it cleanly. And they will rule that an infield single, correctfully so. The lead remains 3 for the Wolverines, 5-2 here in the top of the 8th, and this appears will be the end for Oliver Jaski, who threw 111 pitches. He matched a career high going 7 innings, and he will exit here in the 8th with a runner at first, no outs. And the home run hitter for Oklahoma, Austin O'Brien, coming back to the plate. We'll give you the Michigan pitcher coming in for Jaski, who had a masterful performance, giving up just 2 earned runs on 5 hits, 7 strikeouts, and 3 walks in 7 innings of work. He'll exit this game in line for a victory against a top 20 opponent. Michigan on top 5-2. We'll be back with the new Michigan pitcher in a moment on the Michigan Baseball Student Radio Network, WCBN FM Ann Arbor.
Listen, my life changed because someone was there to get me to use drugs. No one can understand. Whether or not they've struggled with addiction themselves, people seem to think that having someone who will listen is going to help make it better. I'm realizing that I need help.
I'm listening.
I need help. I'm realizing that I think that having someone who will listen is going to help make it better. Whether or not they've struggled with addiction themselves, people seem to understand. No one can get me to use drugs. My life changed because someone was there to listen.
1 in 7 Americans will struggle with addiction during their lifetime. Want to know how you can help? Go to heretolisten.com for tips and tools to help turn addiction around. A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I liked things to always be the same. Anything new or different would scare and upset me. I was very sensitive to lights and sounds. It was almost like I had bigger eyes and ears than everyone else. So I built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. I didn't like looking people in the eye. It made me feel uncomfortable. I'd throw big tantrums over little things like when my socks didn't match. Sometimes I'd do the same things over and over. Until one day, I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
You can see signs of autism in children as young as 18 months. Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Mac Lozier in there for the Wolverines, making his 10th appearance of the season. The first pitch he delivers to the home run hitter back in the 6th, Austin O'Brien, misses low for a ball, 1-0. Runner at first base, Steele Walker. He's been caught stealing 3 out of the 5 stolen base attempts he's made this year. The 1-0 pitch fouled down the right field line. Evens the count at 1-1. Lozier has yet to give up a run this season. He's gone 5 2/3 out of the bullpen so far this year and has allowed just 2 hits. Part of that shut it down bullpen that Michigan has had all season. He enters here in the 8th and gets ahead of O'Brien 1-2. In just the 5 2/3 innings of work, he already has 7 strikeouts, looking to make it 8. And hold Steele Walker at first. Michigan on top 5-2 here in the top of the 8th over the 18th ranked Oklahoma Sooners. The 1-2 pitch, trying to get O'Brien to chase. He doesn't. Evens the count at 2-2. O'Brien 2 for 2 with a walk in the 4th and a single back in the 2nd, in addition to his solo shot back in the 6th, which made this a 3-run game. It remains at that margin, 5-2 in favor of the Maize and Blue. The 2-2 pitch, inside, called strike 3, strikeout number 8 on the season. Out of the bullpen, Mac Lozier comes out firing on all cylinders, and that will keep Walker at first, 1 away here in the top of the 8th. Brings up Rene Martinez, who struck out in the 2nd and 6th and walked in the 4th. Righty on righty matchup for Mac Lozier. Michigan with a couple guys getting loose in the bullpen. You know Bakich likes to play the matchups. So we'll see how long Lozier's outing is. So far, 1 batter faced, 1 strikeout. The man at first is Walker. He remains there. A tapper foul down the 3rd baseline, hopping off the wall in shallow left field. That protects the Michigan bullpen from baseballs like that one. Makes the count 0-1 for Martinez. Who had 7 strikeouts entering today. Jaski got him swinging twice. Now here in the early evening, a cloudy Thursday in Ann Arbor, Michigan leading Oklahoma 5-2 in the top of the 8th, 1 away. That ball just misses low to even the count at 1-1. Walker, no signs of going anywhere, remains at first. Lozier delivers the 1-1. Sent back up the middle, perfect double play ball. Thomas flips it over to Berdar at short, over to first. Lozier comes out of the bullpen and is lights out. He gets the double play after the strikeout, sends us to the bottom of the 8th. Michigan absolutely perfect defensively on that one. And they lead at 5-2 as we head to the bottom of the 8th. Your Wolverines on top of the Oklahoma Sooners in a battle of top 20 teams.
WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. Take 1.
Behold the angry giant.
Try it again, Alberto.
Behold the angry giant.
Perfect. Good luck tonight.
Behold the angry giant.
Yay! Read me another one, Dad.
This is WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. Take 1.
Behold the angry giant.
Try it again, Alberto.
Behold the angry giant.
Perfect. Good luck tonight.
Behold the angry giant.
Yay! Read me another one, Dad.
This is WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hey y'all, I'm Blake Shelton. I love that country music connects people all over this great nation, but unfortunately so does something else, childhood hunger. 15 million children struggle with hunger in America. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks works to rescue our surplus food to help provide billions of meals to families in need across the country. Join the fight against hunger at feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Michigan on top of Oklahoma, a battle of the 13th ranked Michigan Wolverines and the 18th ranked Sooners, who've made the trip up north from Norman, Oklahoma. They find themselves in Ann Arbor, trailing the home side at Ray Fisher Stadium by a score of 5-2. Lugbauer responsible for 2 of those runs. The home run back in the 5th, his 10th of the season, into deep left center, has provided some insurance. The Maize and Blue leading it by 3 with the lefty back in the batter's box. Walked in the first, grounded out to second, back in the third, and then the home run coming 3 innings ago. He's ahead 1-0 against Austin Kearns, who's back out on the mound. Entered this game last inning and gave up 1 hit. Foul tip off the leg, and Lugbauer reacts immediately, as you'd expect for a guy who just blasted a baseball off his inner shin. The count even at 1-1. The 1-1 fouled down the first base line. Kearns ahead now 1-2. The New York native takes the 1-2 pitch at the letters for a ball, 2-2. Lugbauer struck out 39 times this year, in addition to walking 22 times. But you can afford to strike out at that rate when you lead the team in home runs and RBIs. He does both. The 2-2 inside, belt high, runs the count full. Kearns with a 15 strikeout to 6 walk ratio as it stands. This next pitch could certainly change that. The 3-2 blasted into right field by the second baseman Flansburgh. Lugbauer is aboard with his 2nd straight hit. A home run last at bat, a single to right this time, and the leadoff man aboard here in the bottom of the 8th. Oklahoma has 3 outs left to work with when they get their next at-bats. Michigan hoping the deficit will be more than 3, and this is a nice start in that process. As Miles Lewis, the left fielder, who walked in the first, struck out looking in the 3rd, and grounded out to first back in the 5th, is up at the plate. He scored a run after walking in the 1st. He's also, as mentioned a moment ago, struck out looking. First time he's faced Austin Kearns, though, in this game, who's now allowed 2 hits in his inning of relief. Lewis sends one off the bat, just foul over the first base bag. O'Brien, who was holding Lugbauer at first, nearly out of play at that one. The first base coach, Aaron Etchison, had to dodge it as well. 0-1 to Miles Lewis. Misses high and outside, does Austin Kearns. 1-1. No outs, bottom of the 8th. Drew Lugbauer at first. 2 for 3 on stolen base attempts this year. The 1-1. Breaking ball left up high. Lewis not able to take advantage, fouls it off into the netting behind home plate to run the count to 1-2. Kearns looking for his 2nd strikeout this afternoon. The infield playing regular depth. Same with the outfield. No evident shift on for the right-handed Miles Lewis, who's batting .289 on the year. 0 for 2, though, this afternoon. The 1-2. Inside swing. And he just managed to get a piece of it. And it was dropped by the catcher Martinez. I thought we had a strike 3 on a foul tip for sure, but Martinez just not able to hang on to it. It did go off the bat of Lewis into his glove. He just couldn't secure it. So Lewis granted a second life. With Lugbauer at first, the 1-2 sent down the third baseline. That ball is foul. Immediately, the hands came up from home plate umpire Stephen Linton. Tough to tell from our angle directly behind home plate. With just a 3-man umpiring crew, Robert Wrights is over covering second. So the only man with any sort of angle on it was the home plate umpire Stephen Linton, and he immediately stuck both hands up to indicate that one was just left of the third base bag. Otherwise, that might have been trouble for Austin Kearns and the Oklahoma Sooners. Instead, the count simply remains at 1-2 on a loud foul ball and nothing more. 1 ball, 2 strikes for Miles Lewis, with Drew Lugbauer still at first base. Austin Kearns, the lefty, hangs his throwing arm, now comes together, sets from the stretch, delivers inside. A nice block by Martinez to keep Lugbauer at first. The count evens at 2-2. Still no one away here in the bottom of the 8th. Michigan on top of Oklahoma 5-2. Michigan ranked 13th, Oklahoma 18th. In a pivotal non-conference matchup for Michigan's hopes of hosting some NCAA tournament games. The 2-2. Lewis fouls it up towards the Oklahoma bullpen in right field. It will land shy of that, but out of play nonetheless. 2-2 is what the count remains. Some fresh baseballs coming in from the Michigan dugout for home plate umpire Stephen Linton. Austin Kearns, the pitcher, wipes his left-handed throwing hand on the artificial dirt that makes up the pitcher's mound here at Ray Fisher Stadium. Now comes together, places his push-off foot back on the rubber, hangs the left hand and looks in to his catcher Martinez. Runner at first, the 2-2 pitch to Lewis inside, gets away from Martinez for a moment, but he kept it in front of him. The count, however, now is full for Miles Lewis with the leadoff man aboard. Nobody out here in the top of the 8th. Michigan on top of Oklahoma 5-2. The count full, the payoff pitch upcoming from Austin Kearns, looking to avoid his first walk of this relief appearance. He'll delay it at least for a moment with a pickoff attempt. Lugbauer, never a threat to go, especially against a lefty who has a view of him the entire windup. Kearns sets, delivers the payoff pitch inside and low for a ball. Runners at first and second, still no one out here in the bottom of the 8th. Oklahoma doesn't appear to have anyone ready out in the bullpen. It'll be interesting to see if Oklahoma lets this game get sideways, if Kearns can't get himself out of this jam without some assistance via a couple more Sooner arms. But no help appears on the way based on the activity currently going on in the Oklahoma bullpen. 5-2 in favor of the Wolverines right now. And with Jaski going into the 8th inning, officially completing just 7 innings of work, and Mac Lozier looking really good in relief. Likely his game to finish. That pitch got up high by Martinez, who got just the web of his glove on it, but not enough to secure it. So both runners advance into scoring position. A wild pitch sends Lugbauer to third, Miles Lewis to second, and still no outs. A chance to put up a crooked number here in the 8th and add some more insurance. I think even if it remains a save situation, Jackson Lamb likely not entering this game after going a couple of innings on Tuesday against Eastern Michigan. And there's no sign of him in the Michigan bullpen right now. Expect this to be Mac Lozier's game to finish. The 1-0 in there for a called strike, 1-1. Lamb went a season-high 2.1 innings against Eastern Michigan back on Tuesday. He was great in relief. Another one of these Michigan arms out of the bullpen who has yet to give up an earned run this season. Lozier equally up to that task so far. Likely will be in line to get the save if Michigan can't plate another run or two in this inning. But they have eyes on at least two with two in scoring position, and the count at 1-2 against Jake Bivens. With no outs here in the bottom of the 8th, Michigan on top 5-2. Lugbauer at third, Lewis at second, the 1-2 pitch. Outside part of the plate, a late called strike 3 for home plate umpire Stephen Linton. Austin Kearns with his second strikeout of the evening. I think that was a generous call for the lefty on the mound. Obviously, Bivens disagrees, and I think he has a case there. The runners remain at second and third for Nick Poirier. The designated hitter, a chance to add to his 1 RBI. He was hit by a pitch back in the first, which plated one of Michigan's 3 runs in that inning. The lead 3 for the Wolverines here in the bottom of the 8th. Runners at second and third for Poirier, who's batting .337 on the year with a single in the 4th. Inside, nothing you could do with that one, just taking all the way for a called strike. Runners at second and third for Michigan. The infield playing in, not looking to concede another run. Poirier, plenty of room if he can bloop it over the head of one of these infielders. The 0-1 swung on and missed over the outside part of the plate. Poirier had eyes on a home run there, but no eye on the baseball. 1 out here, bottom of the 8th. Runners at second and third. Michigan trying to increase their current 3-run lead for their reliever, Mac Lozier, or potentially the closer, Jackson Lamb, who pitched a season-high 2 1/3 against Eastern. The 0-2 sent into left field, but foul. Defensive cut keeps it at 0-2. One out here in the bottom of the 8th. Runners in scoring position at second and third for Nick Poirier. The 0-2 pitch swung on and missed. Back-to-back strikeouts for Austin Kearns, trying to escape the inning after having runners in second and third and nobody out. 2 outs against the Maize and Blue. A pivotal at-bat upcoming for the Wolverines. If they want to bust this game open to a comfortable spot at 3, you have to feel pretty good with how well Michigan's bullpen has pitched all year, but they'd like to tack on some insurance, especially with a 300 hitter at the 8 spot coming to the plate in the form of Jonathan Engelman, who's 0 for 2 on the day, walked in a run back in the first, but struck out swinging in the 4th and 6th. His 4th plate appearance of the afternoon comes with Drew Lugbauer at third base and Miles Lewis at second. Austin Kearns delivers a nice block by Martinez on a low pitch to prevent Lugbauer from scoring on a wild one. 1-0 with first base open. And Harrison Wenson, who already has struck out with the bases loaded once in this game, on deck. Oklahoma playing for a pull with the shortstop Zaragoza in the shallow outfield, split between second and third base. Second baseman hovering over second. This one sent opposite field into right. And the play is made by the first baseman, O'Brien, for out number 3. So the Wolverines strand 2 as we head to the top of the 9th. Michigan on top of Oklahoma 5-2 with a chance to come away with the victory when we come back on Michigan's Baseball Student Radio Network, WCBN FM, Ann Arbor.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. As a volunteer, you deliver a hot, nutritious meal and a friendly hello to someone just like your mother, grandfather, or next door neighbor. These seniors are inspiring people with incredible stories to share, and they love to see you. The smiles you get back are priceless. Delivering with Meals on Wheels is easy, and you don't have to drive like me for it to be quick. You can volunteer your lunch break once a week or just once a month. With 1 in 6 seniors facing hunger and many more living in isolation, your lunch break can make a real difference. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. Take 1.
Behold the angry giant.
Try it again, Alberto.
Behold the angry giant.
Perfect. Good luck tonight.
Behold the angry giant.
Yay! Read me another one, Dad.
This is WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
The 18th ranked Oklahoma Sooners here in Ann Arbor trailed the 13th ranked Michigan Wolverines by a score of 5-2. Mac Lozier back out there to try to finish off this game in a save situation. The score 5-2 in favor of Michigan. The first pitch he sends to Briley Ware is grounded over to third. And Lugbauer makes a throw across the diamond for out number 1. One pitch thrown here in the 9th by Mac Lozier. Lozier now has passed his season high in his 10th appearance. He's gone an inning twice this year, last on March 31st against Penn State. He's now going 1 1/3. 2 outs left to play with for the Oklahoma Sooners, who trail 5-2 against the Wolverines. Michigan looking to start this 3-game series with a big win over a top 20 opponent in Oklahoma. The third baseman, Chase Harris, who's 2 for 3 on the afternoon, takes a first pitch outside for a ball. Singled in the 2nd and brought in a run. Singled back in the 6th. Takes a breaking ball inside the strike zone to even the count at 1-1. Also grounded into a fielder's choice back in the 4th. The third baseman, Harris, making just his 6th start of the year. Takes a ball 2-1. For Cade Harris, out of Leona, Texas. Went to Centerville High School. Stands in the left-handed batter's box. 6'2", $185. Takes a strike to even the count at 2-2. Lozier looking for his 2nd strikeout this afternoon. And now evening here at Ray Fisher Stadium in Ann Arbor. Wolverines 2 outs away from a big victory over a ranked opponent. The 2-2 inside, blocked by Wenson to run the count full. 3-2. Time called for by Cade Harris. The count remains 3-2 with 1 out here in the top of the 9th. Michigan on top by 3. The payoff pitch. Check swing, it doesn't matter. It's a strikeout nonetheless. As Harris thought he was going to first, home plate umpire Stephen Linton says, nuh-uh. Strikeout for Lozier, his 2nd of the game. 1 out left to play with for Oklahoma. They need 3 runs. And they'll need a rally with 2 outs in this game. Now 1 left to work with for the Crimson and Cream. Michigan looking to cement their first victory over a ranked opponent this season. It will be a pinch hitter in place of the shortstop Brandon Zaragoza. No time to save any weapons in the arsenal if you're Oklahoma head coach Pete Hughes. Brady Lindsley will pinch hit, batting .283 on the year, sends a grounder foul along the first baseline, handled by Bivens in foul territory. Lindsley, a freshman, usually plays catcher, stands in at 6'1", 200 pounds from Keller, Texas. And now the pressure squarely on the youngster. He's behind 0-1 to Mac Lozier. The 0-1 pitch in there for a called strike two. 0-2, one strike left in this game for Oklahoma. A senior battling against a freshman, and the Wolverines have to like their chances with the experience on the mound. Lindsley readies to face the 0-2 pitch from Lozier. Swung on and missed. Strike three. 3 strikeouts in relief for Lozier, who goes 2 innings. And Oliver Jaske gets the much-deserved victory. The Wolverines defeat the 18th-ranked Oklahoma Sooners, a final score of 5-2 here at Ray Fisher Stadium. A big win to start the weekend for the Maize and Blue in this 3-game series. And Oliver Jaske was spectacular on the mound for the Wolverines. Michigan plated 3 runs against Dylan Grove on 5 walks and a hit by pitch back in the first. He was chased out of it. Some good relief work. Not enough for the Oklahoma Sooners out of their bullpen as the Maize and Blue come away on top and improve to 27-7 on the year. Oklahoma falls to 27-10. We'll be back tomorrow with the second game of this 3-game series against the Oklahoma Sooners. Thanks for listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. The final once again from Ray Fisher Stadium, Michigan 5, Oklahoma 2. On behalf of the entire WCBN Sports crew, I'm Leo Blavin, wishing you a good night and go Blue.